Be becoming more common among white-collar workers beyond traditional summer holiday spikes. The Drug Detection Agency has found a 45% increase in cocaine-positive tests in the March quarter. Detections are up across almost every state year on year. Flight disruptions and war in the Middle East hasn't deterred hundreds of Australian pilgrims from travelling to Gallipoli, where final preparations are underway for this year's dawn service. Joss Bavis reports from Anzac Cove.
This year's dawn service in Gallipoli will be one of the biggest since the centenary in 2015. About 2,300 have registered to attend. Most of them are Aussies. Australia's Ambassador Sally Ann Vincent says the travel advice has not changed and officials are well prepared to host the service. The peninsula is abuzz where security is tight and the Department of Veterans Affairs is making sure proceedings run safely and smoothly. A tradition held on the sacred grounds where more than 130,000 people from a number of countries lost their lives, including more than 8,000 Australians.
Vegetable prices could spike by 50% as farmers cut back on planting due to rising costs. Fertiliser costs have more than doubled and some farmers aren't sure they'll have enough fuel to harvest or move crops. The veggie prices affected the most include leafy greens, zucchini and capsicum. The US president is warning Iran the clock is ticking as he rejects suggestions that he's anxious to end the war. Donald Trump insists a permanent deal will only be made when it's appropriate and good for the United States. But former National Security Advisor with the Trump administration, John Bolton, says there must be a strong message sent on the Strait of Hormuz or the issues will continue into the future.
I think if we try to get out of this without having demonstrated military dominance over the Strait of Hormuz, the Iranian regime is going to use this like a light switch. They're going to turn the Strait of Hormuz off and on when it suits them.
Now turning to FIVEAA Sport.
Agostino Mitsubishi's is overstocked with demos that must be cleared. Upgrade your vehicle today. Nailsworth and Mawson Lakes.
Good morning, Tom Wren.
And a very good morning to you as well, Jess. We'll start with some footy. Round 7 getting underway last night. The Western Bulldogs going down by 66 points to latter leaders Sydney at Marvel Stadium. Injuries hit the Doggies again with forward Aaron Norton to have scans today for a suspected strained neck after an unsettling landing, crashing hard to the ground after flying for a mark. Coach Luke Beveridge conceding it is what it is.
Probably need more experienced players really influencing the game. Obviously Marcus didn't have enough elsewhere, and that helps the younger guys, come up to speed a little bit. But they were just more vibrant, their speed, their work across the ground. They pressured us into aspects of the game, that you don't want to be accustomed to.
Still on football, Adelaide captain Jordan Dawson has been named to play in Sunday's clash away against Brisbane at the Gabba. The extended squad of 26 will be cut back to 23 a little later today. Alex Neil-Bullen, however, is out of the side through injury. Port Adelaide's unchanged for the first time this year when they take on Geelong tomorrow at Adelaide Oval. And the AFL Tribunal has reduced Lance Collard's ban for a homophobic slur from 9 weeks to 4 following an appeal from the Saints VFL player. One game in the NRL last night, the West Tigers easily beating the Canberra Raiders 33-14. The result lifts the Tigers up to second while the Raiders are struggling back in 14th. Meantime, the Chennai Super Kings have smashed the Mumbai Indians by 103 runs in the IPL. Sanju Samson blasting an unbeaten century to help his side record its third win of the campaign. And that's the FIVEAA Sport.
Thanks, Tom. Now to the FIVEAA forecast. Mostly sunny and 27 today. 28 tomorrow with a possible late shower. 21 with a shower or two for Sunday. 24 and sunny for Monday ahead of another warm week. Right now it's already 20 degrees on FIVEAA. Always Adelaide.
G'day, Alan Gray here. Speaking mechanic to mechanic, we all know four-wheel drive safety starts with how well a vehicle handles and stops. Too often we see four-wheel drives setting off on the big family getaway, overloaded and underprepared. It's time to get Terrain Tamer ready with the right stopping power. For safety's sake, Terrain Tamer have loads of upgraded braking solutions, including larger calipers, heavy-duty pads, dual brake boosters, rotors and braided brake lines. To find out more, go to terraintamer.com.
Hi, Brady Bitt here for Mawson Lakes Mazda with a little secret of how you can get behind the wheel of a new Mazda. You can unlock their end of financial year deals early. You heard right, we can give them to you right now. That's immediate delivery on all makes, models and colours. Plus low-K demos must go. No gimmicks, just early end of financial year deals and the best customer support for you and your shiny new Mazda. Mawson Lakes Mazda, Salisbury Highway, just a short drive from the city.
Your lawn is about to face its toughest months of the year. Are you prepared? Lawn Hub's Amateur Pack has everything you need to get your lawn through winter and out the other side looking lush and green. But you need to start now. Pre-emergent weed control, cold weather fertiliser, wetting agent and more, all in home-friendly sizes with a step-by-step application calendar. Plus, order this month and you're in the draw to win a $3,000 BP fuel voucher. lawnhub.com.au. I grow mine with Lawn Hub.
When you think of single malt Scotch whisky, you might imagine Scotland's green hills, her fresh babbling brooks, and rows of oak barrels. But you can get the same feeling right here in Adelaide when you walk down the aisles at Powell's. Sam and Jamie from Parafield Airport Liquor Store know every drop on the shelf. They can guide you through Scotland's best whisky labels and the best from around the globe, all under one roof. Parafield Airport Liquor Store. Powell's, next to Roulette's Tavern, Kings Road, Parafield.
Moving house and need a truck, planning your next family holiday, or maybe your car is out of action and you need a reliable replacement. Whatever you need or wherever you need to go, think Red Spot Car Rentals.
The team at Red Spot's got you covered. Red Spot's been named Product Review's 2026 Car Hire Service of the Year, and that's voted by you, their customers.
And that's because Red Spot proudly offers transparent pricing, genuine old-fashioned service, and a new fleet of vehicles, including an impressive hybrid range.
You can rely on Red Spot. Book your next rental direct at redspot.com.au today or call 1300 66 88 10.
Come and join the team on FIVEAA.
Knock down, build two with Metro Homes. Move into one and keep the other as an investment. Metro Homes, they do it all for you.
Live from Hindmarsh Square, it's FIVEAA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
9:06, good morning to you. Welcome to Friday on FIVEAA Breakfast. It is the 24th of April. Tomorrow is Anzac Day, and we've got a very Anzac Day show today, and we're hoping you can be a big part of it. It is, of course, Meat Tray Friday today. The meat provided by Liam Joanna and the team at my local butcher, Chanella's, 62 Prospect Road at Prospect. What we want you to do is something really simple, because we have a theory that we want to test, and that is that everyone listening in their family has a veteran they're proud of, someone who has served the country. It might be whatever conflict you like, World War I, II, anything from the Boer War forward, frankly, Vietnam, Korea, you name it, Afghanistan, Iraq. If they've served, we'd love to give you the opportunity to shout out just what someone in your family. Call in and let us know their relationship to you, where they served, and when it was, and you're in the running for the meat tray. It's as simple as that. We're handing the show over today to a celebration of our family members who have served. So you can call in on 8223 and put yourself in the running to win the meat tray. That is going to be a lot of fun over the course of the morning. We'll talk Anzac Day footy with Hamish McLaughlin from 7's AFL broadcast after 6:30. Michael Smith will join us. We'll flash back in time. Timmy G is going to be on the program. We will chat. We're going to talk about this wonderful story that we had on 7 last night with regard to a stack of medals that showed up in an op shop that have now been returned to the family from whence they came. Lost medals, a whole stack of them. It's a really lovely story for Anzac Day Eve that we'll get into. We'll play nearest to the pin. We've got Feedback Friday. It should be a terrific morning, David Penberthy, and good morning to you.
Good morning, Will. Good morning, listeners. I really love this Meat Tray Friday topic. I'd be surprised if more than half of our listeners, at least half of our listeners, didn't have family members going back in the day. When you consider the percentage of men who enlisted for World War I in particular, like, it was just off the charts. But yeah, I can easily rattle off a few names from our family. Technically, I shouldn't count Bill Schmidt because he's not a blood relative, even though he's known as Uncle Bill and always will be. He's our next door neighbour, but he was in Changi. But so too was a great uncle of mine, Perce Matters. Uncle Perce. Uncle Perce was a farmer near Wasleys after the war, as tough as old nails. And one day we got a phone call that he'd had a bit of an accident and he'd driven himself to the Royal Adelaide. The accident involved getting his left forearm caught in a combine harvester and ripping the bone out.
And he just drove himself to hospital.
So he tied his shirt around it and he drove from Wasleys to North Terrace.
That's tough. Just different type of tough, that is.
Yeah.
That is extraordinary.
Uncle Purse, God rest his soul. Amazing. Then later on, Uncle Fred served in the Confrontasi. That's why I asked that chap the other day who rang in, because he served in it too, between Malaysia and Indonesia in the 1950s. Served in Vietnam. He was a brigadier. He went right up the tippy top of the Australian military.
Wow.
He coordinated an exercise called Kangaroo 89, which was a mock battle held in northern Australia between us and a country called the Comorians. And,
They do those kind of every few years. They do those sorts of events. They're huge.
But this was massive.
People get killed. People have been killed doing them.
Yeah,
previously, because they'll use live fire and stuff like that. That's a huge undertaking.
It's a massive thing.
A massive endeavour.
It was when he got to know Kim Beazley quite well, because Kim Beazley was the defence minister at the time, from memory. So it's a couple.
My two great-grandfathers on Dad's side, so his two grandfathers, both served on the Western Front in the First World War, and I've told the story before. Much to my father's surprise, you can have a grandparent with two legs, because they both lost a leg on both sides fighting in the Western Front in the First World War. Interestingly, one of them, his career has a huge write-up. If you go to the Australian War Memorial, it's all detailed in the story of how he was extracted, and there's all this rich detail of this injured soldier. The other one, there's nothing. You can see the injury forms that were filled out. You can see the paperwork, but there's no. There's this whole narrative around one of them, which is fascinating. And then my grandfather, which I think sort of spurred my love of all things Navy and things, served on the Quiberon in the Second World War, a little destroyer. It was one of the Q-class destroyers that we had here. Not that he loved war at all; he hated war. But I was just fascinated asking him things growing up about his time serving in the Second World War. So what we just did is what we want you to do, folks. Call in with your stories of people in your family that have served, and we're going to do this all morning because there's no better day for it than Anzac Day Eve. Wendy in Elizabeth, you were first caller through this morning. Wendy, who do you want to talk about?
Good morning. I've got two actually. My Uncle Clive, World War II. He went everywhere, as in Palestine, and very moving. He's a really old-fashioned. He's passed now, but my goodness, he used to. As kids, we had big bonfires at Unley. Loved Sturt. Just an old digger. He was fantastic. And recently, my son, he's in his 40s now, but he went to Iraq and East Timor, and I was just so proud of both of them. But to have my son go too was very moving, they never talked about anything, and very strong men, both of them. So I'm very proud. And actually, my partner and I went to Gallipoli last year, not during Anzac, but bit of an off season, and it was so moving. It's something I'll always remember, and love it.
Great call to get us started, Wendy. Terrific call to get us started. We appreciate it. Thank you. Let's go to Appleton. John, good morning.
Good morning. I'd like to relate a story regarding my late uncle, George Hodgins. He was part of the 2nd 4th Machine Gun Battalion that was sent up to Singapore within days or weeks or so before Singapore fell. He travelled initially to Changi, and he told me when I was a young lad that Changi was a rest home as compared to his life up the line travelling with H-Force. He and other Australians and troops was involved in the Hellfire Pass cutting, which is the most memorable part of that whole line. He returned to Adelaide and married my auntie, given that, David, your very fond memories of your Uncle Bill.
Yeah.
Yes, I have photos of both my Uncle George and Bill Schmidt, my mother and her sister at their wedding.
Wow, John.
One other that I find most poignant was that Uncle George lived at Seaton Park. His watering hole was the Seaton Park RSL. He, on a return across the railway line to his home at Seaton Park, was hit by a train. Luckily survived, but was very, very broken up and spent months in hospital. And I'd go to visit him, and I was thinking, what could I do to lift his spirit? Anyway, I had this idea of writing to Weary Dunlop to inform Weary of Uncle George's plight, and not thinking that he would find the time, or he'd certainly have the interest, but find the time to reply. So he returned a letter to my Uncle George saying, keep your spirit up. The Japs couldn't kill you, so a train would have no hope.
That's extraordinary, John.
Wow,
some great stories, mate. Thank you. That was remarkable. Keep them coming in, folks. 8223 0000 is the number. Sue and Shane will hear from you about someone in your family you'd like to recognise on this Anzac Day Eve next.
Did you know 1 in 3 Aussie adults have high cholesterol? Make the change to Flora Proactive today. Clinically proven to lower your cholesterol by up to 10% in 21 days. Flora Proactive. Start something good.
The company you keep keeps unpacking sport and entertainment's untold stories and keeps you part of rugby leagues in a huddle. Keep good company with the Backstage podcast.
Kids don't want to wait. The sooner, the better. Every moment is a chance to learn and grow. And they're right, it is. The first few years of a child's development play a hugely important part in their future, in learning and in life. That's why the state government is rolling out 3-year-old preschool from 2026. Because the sooner they start, the further they can go. Learn more at flyingstart.sa.gov.au. A message from the Government of South Australia.
Hi, it's Wayne Phillips from SA's award-winning Wayne Phillips Kia. There's never been a better time to jump into a new Kia EV. And the best place to see the extensive Kia EV range is at SA's most awarded Kia dealership, Wayne Phillips Kia. And right now, get up to $6,000 cash back on selected EVs with competitive leasing packages and Kia finance deals. Approved customers only. Terms and conditions apply. Don't wait. Come down and see us at Wayne Phillips Kia, home of the overnight test drive at 86 Main South Road, Ranella.
Stop buying those 2-in-1 spray-on products from the hardware shop. Real lawn enthusiasts treat their lawn with a multi-step program, not whatever's on the shelf. Lawn Hub's Amateur Pack is pro-grade lawn care in home-friendly sizes. 5 products with an easy-to-follow application calendar, specifically designed to push your lawn through autumn, survive winter, and come into spring looking amazing. Take your lawn from zero to hero with 1 pack delivered to your door. Plus, order this month and you're in the draw to win a $3,000 BP fuel voucher. Lawnhub.com.au. I grow mine with Lawn Hub.
Discover the magic of the Canadian Rockies with Cosmos and Phil Hoffman Travel. For 2 weeks only, save 10% on all 2026 and 27 Cosmos tours, including the 12-night Canadian Rockies tour, Vancouver return, with scenic drives through Yoho and Glacier National Parks, entry to Banff and Jasper National Parks, the Icefield Explorer Experience and the beautiful Butchart Gardens from $7,250 per person, including flights from Adelaide. Hurry, offer ends April 30. Visit pht.com.au.
Experience the very best of over 50s living at Northern Community Residential Village in Penfield. Set in a serene and peaceful setting, Northern Community Residential Village offers a low-maintenance lifestyle amongst a welcoming community of like-minded people. A new release of stunning homes is now selling from just $450,000. Book a tour of the display home today and picture how bright your future could be. Visit ncrv.com.au for more information.
G'day, it's Eddie May here from NRG Solar. If you're a business thinking about advertising on radio, I think the first step is to actually contact one of the crew at FIVEAA and just have a look at what the demographic is, how it would work for your business, what sort of ads might work for you, and then you can make an informed choice as to whether this is the path for you to take or not. In our particular space, there is more and more solar companies on radio, and I think it's important that you stay in the mix. So for us, it's part of our strategy. It's not our entire strategy. It's one of 5 different sources, but, you know, if you don't have them all in there, then you're just not part of it.
To get your message out there and grow your business, visit 5AA.com.au and hit the Advertise With Us link.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Knock down, build 2 with Metro Homes. Move into 1 and keep the other as an investment. Metro Homes, they do it all for you.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
23 after 6, really special Metro this morning on Anzac Day Eve. We're learning a little bit about the family members and the families of those that listen to 5AA Breakfast and how they've served the country with stories and shout-outs that listeners are giving, and in the process putting themselves in the running to win the meat tray, albeit this feels like one of those topics that people would call in without a prize, because there's nothing like the pride you have in a family member. Sue in Mylor, tell us about your family member that served.
Morning, guys. I'm just rushing off the op shop. Can I just say our op shop is open tomorrow on Anzac Day, and we're donating all of our takings to Legacy.
Oh, good on you, Sue. Well done to you guys.
Just letting people know that.
Beautiful, Sue.
My great uncles were Sir Ross and Sir Keith Smith, who flew the Vickers Vimy out.
Yep.
And,
we may have heard of them, Sue.
Yeah. Uncle Ross was one of the most decorated pilots in World War I, and he was the favourite pilot of Lawrence of Arabia. So he was his go-to pilot.
How did that come about, Sue?
He was just the best pilot, full stop. And he used to get him to fly really, and these were like, in those little old planes. They used to fly these really low-level missions just above the enemy campgrounds to take photographs. So they used to have to fly a few hundred feet at the most above enemy camps to take photographs. And so he was considered the best pilot. So Lawrence actually wrote about him in his book. He was a huge fan of his, and Uncle Ross was well known as, the best pilot going around. So very proud of that.
Yes, you should be, Sue. That's a remarkable, not just bit of family history, but Australian history. Let's go to Brooklyn Park. Shane, good morning.
Big shout out to my uncle. He was in the SAS, 2nd Squadron there, and he last year in 2025 he wrote a book called Tip of the Spear. He was the forward scout, meaning the person right up the front, leading a team of 4 or 5 people. He got dropped into the jungle, always Viet Cong behind enemy lines. So there was only the 4 or 5 of them. He was 17 at the time, and get a bit emotional here. I just want to read a little bit from this book, if you don't mind.
Go for it, Shane. Right. We'd love to hear it.
As I moved forward, I noticed some thickets of bamboo. I halted to check the middle ground, then the distant ground. Satisfied there was no immediate threat, I looked down to carefully place my feet. I froze. The sun was filtering through to the jungle floor, and I noticed a shiny, straight piece of wire at shin height. I squatted down slowly and gave the thumbs down signal. The patrol commander moved up to me. The wire was inches from me. My heart was racing, and I was dripping with sweat. After safely moving away, we followed the tripwire to the base of a small tree. 3 metres away, I was attached to an instantaneous hand grenade. I'd seen the grotesque result of booby traps and was thankful I had seen the wire in time.
Wow.
Still got my uncle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an incredible bit of writing, Shane.
That's remarkable. You should be proud, Shane.
Yeah. Absolutely.
A lot of these stories are going to be very emotional. Well, they might be for people. I mean, 17 years. So SAS, tip of the spears, they are the tip of the spear, the most elite element of the Australian Armed Forces, but you're there at 17.
Yeah.
So you're 17 and you're going into an area that, by its nature, by where the SAS operates, it hasn't been cleared. It's not ready for an operation. You're dropped into the middle of the action. That's just extraordinary.
Yeah,
hard to wrap your head around.
Story, amazing call.
Thank you for that, Shane. Keep them coming in. 8223 0000 is the number. 19.8 degrees outside in the city at the moment. Heading for a top today of 27. The weekend, what's the latest weekend forecast? We'll get the full update from the Bureau, but tomorrow, 28. Bit of rain around actually now in the forecast. 0 to 2 millimetres tomorrow and then 0 to 4 on Sunday. So might get a little bit. It drops away, the weather. Top temperature 21 on Sunday and then warms up again next week. 24 Monday, 27 Tuesday, 28 Wednesday and 29 on Thursday. Tom Wren is in the studio with us. Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, style and safety to your home. Gliderol.com.au, who will be playing the role of bugler at a dawn service tomorrow morning, I believe, Rennie.
Yes, out at Rosewater in the morning, so a little one, and then before the Port District's footy club game tomorrow.
Oh, you're doing a double shift,
a double whammy.
Good stuff.
Yeah, no, it should be good. So, looking forward to it. Actually, I think it's the first time they've sort of done something like this, Port Districts, and got the anthem and everything going. So, it should be a big day, and then off to call the footy for the Port game after that, the Port Geelong game. So.
They do a good job with that. I know that Koshy's put quite a lot of work into collaborating with the Cats to make sure it's got the appropriate commemorative Anzac Day vibe to it.
They've done a great job for a long time, so I'm looking forward to it. And they're unchanged just from a football perspective, Port, which I think is good, even though they lost last week. They were really solid. I'm looking forward to seeing how they perform against a side they have struggled against a lot in the past. That's a big game. And, of course, for the Crows, well, they play on Sunday. I think, we're all behind Jordan Dawson and he's named to play at this stage. The intention, now things could change, but at this stage he is set to play. So we just hope that he goes well. And we know it's been a very stressful and emotional time. So
yeah, absolutely.
Everyone will be hoping he goes well on Sunday.
Completely. Big game both for Brisbane and the Crows because they're absolutely level pegging on the ladder.
Yeah.
There's a similar situation a couple of years ago. Remember they had a draw?
Yeah, that's right.
And they were both even. And then for the rest of the year, Brisbane didn't lose a game. And I think the Crows won another 2.
Yeah, exactly. And look, the Crows did beat Brisbane last year in the one game they played at Adelaide, 5-0 in the final quarter. So they can match up against them, but they haven't beaten Brisbane over there since 2018. So it's a tough challenge.
You want to get Brisbane in the first half of the year.
Oh,
this Brisbane side. They are a flick the switch team, aren't they?
They start slow and then they build up, and you get the sense they'll do it again. Round kicked off last night. Aaron Norton, that's the only one.
That's one of the most gruesome incidents I've ever seen.
It was horrific, wasn't it? Thankfully, I think he's okay. They're going to have more scans today. Maybe a strained neck, they think. Was it Danny Morton, the Port Adelaide player?
Danny Morton.
That was a horrible injury.
Yeah.
30-odd years ago or 25 years ago. But yeah, Aaron Norton, it was sickening. But look, it looks like he's going to be all right, so thank goodness.
At least he gave the thumbs up when they got him onto the cart and got him off the ground.
The moment you saw it, you thought...
horrendous.
It looked like he'd broken his neck.
Completely.
Yeah. But yeah, so hopefully he'll be all right.
What have they got, like, inverted crucifixes, black cats, ladders at Footscray? What is going on there?
Wretched run, haven't they? So, yeah, just can't take a trick.
It seems to be Marcus Bontempelli and some kids they found hanging around at the Footscray railway station.
Good on you, Eddie.
Thanks, boys.
Agostina Mitsubishi, overstocked with demos that must be cleared. Upgrade your vehicle today. Nailsworth and Mawson Lakes.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Mostly sunny and 27 today with the 6:30 news. Good morning, I'm Jess Adamson.
Physio Extra, keeping you healthy. Marion, Pirie Street, Norwood, Hallett Cove, Seaford and Victor Harbour. PhysioExtra.com.
Fire investigators will examine the cause of a blaze at Mitchell Park this morning. 2 occupants of the Malden Avenue home were lucky to escape unhurt after being alerted by a smoke alarm. The fire broke out just before 2 a.m. It started in a laundry at the back of the property. Firefighters managed to stop it from spreading to an adjoining property. The damage bill isn't yet known. The man at the centre of a sickening crash which claimed the lives of 4 police officers in Victoria is suing the force, Stephanie Wacklerwick reports.
Richard Pusey was pulled over by Highway Patrol for driving his Porsche at high speed on the Eastern Freeway in 2020 when a truck ploughed into them, killing 4 officers. Pusey was charged after he filmed one of the dying officers on his phone. He is now suing police for trauma suffered as a result of witnessing the horror crash, his lawyers claiming the officers who pulled him over were negligent.
People giving out financial advice to followers on social media are being put on notice by the financial regulator. ASIC is launching a fresh crackdown on so-called finfluencers, issuing warning notices to 4 individuals suspected to be providing unlicensed advice or engaging in deceptive conduct. Commissioner Alan Kirkland says people should never make major investment decisions based solely on something they see online.
If you're giving financial advice in Australia, you need to be appropriately qualified and licensed, and we're concerned about influencers that are giving out financial advice on social media without the appropriate licence, and that's why we're cracking down on them.
Newly released court documents reveal Ben Robert-Smith booked flights to Spain months before his arrest at Sydney Airport. They also show he had contact with an immigration lawyer and vacated his Brisbane unit. The Victoria Cross recipient is on bail, reporting 3 times a week to police after being charged with war crimes, which he denies. The number of Gen Z Australians unwilling to make personal sacrifices to protect Australia is on the rise. 26% of people in the 14 to 29-year-old age group refused to get involved, even if Australia was under serious threat. The survey also finding up to 3/4 of Gen Z believed a world war is imminent. Advocates are hoping the death of former broadcaster and musician James Valentine raises awareness for esophageal cancer. Polly Grundy founded the Mark Grundy Esophageal Cancer Awareness Group after losing her husband to the disease. She says it's known as the quiet cancer because the symptoms are often overlooked.
What we've done gets no government funding. We're all just, trying to make a difference, so that what happened to us doesn't happen to anybody else.
Donald Trump's vowing he won't be rushed into making a deal with Iran to end the ongoing conflict. He insists the United States is in full control of the Strait of Hormuz and the vital shipping lane will open up once a lasting agreement is secured. The president says a temporary increase in oil prices is the cost of ridding Iran of nuclear weapons.
I don't want to rush it. I want to take my time. We have plenty of time, and I want to get a great deal. I want to get a deal where our nation and the world is safe from lunatics with nuclear weapons.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Agostino Mitsubishi's is overstocked with demos that must be cleared. Upgrade your vehicle today. Nailsworth and Mawson Lakes.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Jess. The Western Bulldogs' struggles have continued after being humbled by 66 points against Sydney last night. The injury-ravaged Doggies battled hard but were no match for one of the premiership fancies as Charlie Curnow returned to form with 7 goals. Aaron Norton suffered a sickening neck injury and will have further scans today, but it's hoped he hasn't suffered any serious damage. Still on footy, and Adelaide captain Jordan Dawson has been named to play in Sunday's clash against Brisbane at the Gabba. Alex Neil-Bullen is out through injury, while Jake Saligo and Dan Curtin are back playing, albeit they'll return through the Sandville in a game against North Adelaide tomorrow. Assistant coach Jack Hompsch says Darcy Fogarty is another player who's inching closer to playing once more.
And he's another that's sort of nearing towards a return as well. So it's going to be good getting some of these soldiers back too in the next couple of weeks.
And Port Adelaide's players will have a light run today ahead of tomorrow's clash against Geelong at home. The Power are unchanged for that clash against the Cats. In the NBA playoffs, the Detroit Pistons have broken a run of 11 straight playoff losses at home with a 98 to 83-point winning Game 2 of their best-of-7 series against the Orlando Magic. It means their series is now locked at 1 game apiece. The Oklahoma City Thunder are now 2-0 up in their series against the Phoenix Suns after a 120 to 107-point win. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Tom. To the weather now, mostly sunny and 27 today, 28 tomorrow with a possible late shower, 21 with a shower or two for Sunday, 24 and sunny for Monday ahead of another warm week. Right now, it's 20 degrees on 5AA, always Adelaide.
Whatever your morning looks like, own it with Up and Go Liquid Breakfast. Braving the bus or carving a wave. battling rush hour, or feeling the rush of your favourite trail. Fueled with the protein, fibre and vitamins you need to get up and go.
You can rent a little, you can rent a lot.
You can rely on Red Spot to keep Aussie airport rentals fair. We're the only car rental company who have kept our prices low during the fuel crisis. And we're the only Aussie-owned and operated choice in major airport terminals all over the country. Experience the local service that saw us named Product Review's 2026 Car Hire Service of the Year. For a deal you can rely on, book your next rental direct at redspot.com.au today or call 1300 66 8810.
Red Spot.
If you're thinking of building or renovating your kitchen, you have a lot of choices to make. But the first choice should be Smeg. We have an amazing Smeg showroom right here in Adelaide, Deputy Distributors in Dudley Park, and inside you'll find the full Smeg range on display.
I tell you what, apart from the range, and I'll get to that shortly, but the service from these people, I rang them the other day and spoke to Beck about getting a new dishwasher because the old one's packed it in, and in record time she was back onto me with 3 options for these wonderful Smeg dishwashers, and I think we're going to have it in within a few weeks. So big thanks. I've got everything: ovens, cooktops, dishwashers, fridges, wine cellars, kettles, toasters and more. Smeg pairs powerful performance with architectural design. And if you get a new oven, they've got cooking demos, which are great. I did one a couple of years ago. Smeg's been proudly made in Italy since 1948. Technology with style. Visit the Smeg showroom today at Deputy Distributors, Harrison Road, Dudley Park.
Your lawn is about to face its toughest months of the year. Are you prepared? Lawn Hub's Amateur Pack has everything you need to get your lawn through winter and out the other side looking lush and green. But you need to start now. Pre-emergent weed control, cold weather fertiliser, wetting agent and more, all in home-friendly sizes with a step-by-step application calendar. Plus, order this month and you're in the draw to win a $3,000 BP fuel voucher. lawnhub.com.au. I grow mine with Lawn Hub.
Hi, Brady Bit here for Mawson Lakes Mazda with a little secret of how you can get behind the wheel of a new Mazda. You can unlock their end of financial year deals early. You heard right, we can give them to you right now. That's immediate delivery on all makes, models and colours. Plus low-K demos must go. No gimmicks, just early end of financial year deals and the best customer support for you and your shiny new Mazda. Mawson Lakes Mazda, Salisbury Highway, just a short drive from the city.
They say one of life's biggest decisions is buying a home. But sometimes the hardest one is leaving it. At Anglicare SA, we're here to help you stay where you belong. We offer support for everyday things like cleaning, gardening, cooking, but are also experts in care management, allied health and clinical nursing. Because we believe there is no place like home. And with the right support, there is no reason to leave it. Find out more at Anglicare SA. You are at home.
Knock down, build 2 with Metro Homes. Move into one and keep the other as an investment. Metro Homes, they do it all for you.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
20 minutes to 7. We're off to France in a moment. The world's biggest kite flying festival is on there at the moment. It's been going for 39 years, representing 28 countries across the world. Australia is being represented at the event by a couple from here in Adelaide that hand make their kites and go every single year. We're crossing there to chat with them in just a moment. We're quite a moving meat tray this morning, thanks to the wonderful people at Chanela's, who we're delighted to have them on board for this very special Meat Tray Friday, 62 Prospect Road at Prospect, where we're asking you to shout out a family member who served, however recent or distant their service may have been. What was their relationship to you? Where did they serve? A story about their service. We've had some wonderful calls in the first half hour of the show, and we want that to continue right through until 9 o'clock. So let's head to Selleck's Beach because Janet has called in. Janet, good morning to you.
Oh, yeah, good morning, guys. My father-in-law was a rear gunner in G for George, 460 Squadron, and when G for George was placed in the War Memorial in Canberra, we got an invitation to go. And my husband didn't want to go. He said he'd be too emotional. And I said, well, you'll be sorry if you don't. So I talked our son and daughter-in-law into coming with us. And it was absolutely a fabulous morning. And we actually met, my husband got to meet the pilot for G for George, Colin Gardner from York Peninsula. And he told Mark he put the first 2 bob in his money box when he was little. And my father-in-law did 13 missions over Berlin, and he was only meant to do about 5. So people avoid the number 13, but not for us.
He did 13.
Lucky number. And quite often we go to restaurants. We get table number 13. We get, it's just pops up a lot. So 13 is very, very lucky for us.
Oh.
And we go to the dawn service in Maiponga each time. And also, I was going to say that Colin Gardner, who was the pilot, lived on York Peninsula, ended up sponsoring my father-in-law to come out from Yorkshire, and when my husband was 12. So that was, quite amazing.
Wow. All wonderful memories, Jeanette. 13.
Yes. And
talk about riding your luck.
Well, geez, a lot of guys didn't make that. I mean, there was the attrition rate among Allied bombers, especially going deep into Germany, was horrific.
Well, the rear gunners were the first to get, shot at, weren't they? He was very fortunate, and he lived to 86, I think he was, when he passed away.
Wow, he would have seen some extraordinary things. That's just
thank
remarkable.
you, guys.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing your story, Janet. Those Lancasters are just remarkable planes. What a story! 13 sorties into Germany. Let's talk about something else that flies in the air, but is much more peaceful and pleasant to imagine. If you close your eyes, there is a festival going on in France at the moment at the beach by the coast. So the backdrop is water, and in the sky, kites. Thousands of them from everywhere in the world, 28 different countries. It's a festival that's been going on for 39 years. And Adelaide is well represented there because Australia is represented there by our next guest and her partner, Linda Sanders. Good morning to you.
Good evening from here.
It would be almost midnight in France, I'm guessing, Linda?
Correct, after a very heavy day, yeah.
Well, thank you for staying up so late to talk to us back here in Adelaide.
But that's fine.
What a wonderful part of the world you're in. I'm just looking at the map. My French is terrible, but it says La Plage Bec-sur-Mer. Anything with the word sur mer in it, by sea, must be a pretty good spot to be staying, I'm imagining.
It's a beautiful, beautiful beach. I know Adelaide has lovely beaches, but this beach it is flat and it goes for, miles, but when the tide goes out, it's so far that you can't see it. And the beach is just full of public coming to watch all the 400 and something numbered kite flyers who have joined together for this wonderful event.
So, Linda, when does or how does an enthusiasm for kite flying take you from Adelaide to France? Where did it all start?
Oh, gosh, a plastic kite that a petrol station gave away one year, and we thought that our children would love it, and they didn't. But we did.
And now is it right that you make these kites now?
Yes, between myself and my husband, we are kite makers. He and I decided to do separate things, though. He went straight into his kite making. I decided to let him do that, and I work on the waving feather banners. But my banners are the artistic presentation of my own style, which is fabric LED light. If you can imagine a church window, when the sun comes through it, mine is made out of fabric, but each one that I design represents a different country. So the public who come along are challenged to work out which one is which country.
Clever. So what, do you base it on their flags or other aspects of like their, I don't know, their geography? Or?
You'd have to have a look at some of the photographs, but some of them are cryptic clues.
Yeah, right.
I'll give you one clue. The banner for Belgium features pictures of a man in a bowler hat with an apple as his face. And anyone who is an artist, who understands art, will realise that's the key signature of a Belgian artist.
Oh.
I won't tell you anymore.
Okay. Intriguing.
What a great thing.
That's fantastic.
And it's a competition, Linda. So you are you in the running for a medal, a trophy, for some sort of honour?
Wouldn't it be lovely? No, it is actually a festival of 10 days that has encompassed one specific field of kite flying. That is the 2-string sport kite or the 4-string quad-line kite, and that competitions are held from 10 o'clock each day until 6 p.m. Different levels of competitions. They've got to do certain manoeuvres. Each country, there are 11 countries represented teams of 80 people, 80 kite flyers are doing their thing on the main field, whereas we are on the side fields talking with the public, helping them with the kites that they've bought, just enjoying the sunshine and just loving speaking a bit of French.
Beautiful. Well, look, it sounds like you're having a wonderful time.
Yep.
What a great thing to be part of. Linda Sanders there with husband Kane, all the way from Wollonga over there in Berks-sur-Mer.
What a beautiful place to be. What a nice way to be pursuing a hobby that turned into a passion. Superb. Good on you, Linda. All right, let's head to the Weather Bureau. Ursula Connor is on duty. Ursula, good morning to you.
Morning.
Now, the weekend, what lay ahead for us?
Well, for today, we'll have a mostly sunny day. We've got this high cloud sort of moving over the area at the moment, but we will see a fair bit of sunshine peeping through as we move through the rest of the day, headed for a top of 27 in Adelaide today. And as for the weekend, we should start the weekend in a pretty similar fashion, just these northerly winds, a little bit of high cloud around ahead of a cold front which is approaching the Adelaide area tomorrow. So we will start to see that cloud building sort of through tomorrow afternoon and evening, and then expecting that front to cross through the Adelaide area overnight tomorrow night. So possibly seeing some showers developing sort of pretty close to midnight through Adelaide tomorrow, even the chance of a thunderstorm through the area in the early hours of Sunday morning. And then that all clears out pretty quickly on Sunday, but we do see some cooler air coming through behind it. So we go from a top of 28 tomorrow down to 21 on Sunday. But then as we move into the new week, we'll see those temperatures warming up and those dry, sunny conditions returning.
All right, thank you, Ursula. Ursula Connor from the Weather Bureau. Let's head to SAPOL. Senior Constable Matt Hale is on the line. Matt, there's been a crash at Mawson Lakes.
Yes, good morning. Police and emergency services were called to Salisbury Highway in Mawson Lakes, near to Elder Drive, around 6:15 yesterday. A van had crashed into a BYD hatchback and then hit a light pole. Now, luckily, the driver and passenger of the BYD, both men aged 44 and 68, sustained non-life-threatening injuries. They were taken to hospital just to be sure. The van driver, a 29-year-old Parafield Gardens woman, was also taken to hospital for assessment and to have her bloods taken. Southbound lanes at Salisbury Highway were blocked for several hours but opened up late last night. Both vehicles have been towed from the scene and the road is all clear this morning. Major crash investigators attended last night to help just look at that scene and help with the investigation, and we're continuing to investigate the circumstances of that crash. Now, if you did see a white van driving through Mawson Lakes, Salisbury Highway area prior to the crash, and have information that could help the police, please get in touch through Crime Stoppers, www.crimestoppersa.com.au, or free call 1-800-333-000.
Matt, also three have been assaulted in Goodger Street overnight.
Yes, totally unacceptable. A man has been arrested after allegedly assaulted 3 people in separate instances in Goodger Street. Just after 7:30 p.m, a man walked into a hotel in Goodger Street and punched a security guard. The security guard sustained minor injuries to his face. The suspect then left the hotel and he assaulted, or it's alleged that he assaulted, a woman in the middle of the street. Police believe the woman was known to the man. Eastern District Police quickly responded and the man was chased on foot into a nearby food court where he was arrested. Police further believe the same man was involved in an assault about an hour earlier where another man was punched in the face just walking along Goodger Street. The 38-year-old Largs Bay man was charged with 2 counts of aggravated assault, breaching an intervention order, and another count of assault. Police refused his bail, and he'll be appearing at the Adelaide Magistrates Court later today. Now, at that time of night, there's lots of people in the city, and the police would really like to hear from anyone who captured the incidents or any of those incidents on mobile phone vision, and we can help us prosecute this man.
7:30 on a Thursday night, Goodger Street's like Grand Central Station. There's people everywhere. There's people out on the footpaths, particularly with this hot weather. So there should be plenty of people who are out there dining al fresco or having a beer outside the Talbot or something like that. So yeah, there's been too much of that carry on in Goodger Street lately. I go there once a month with my mates, and we've seen some real rat baggery as we've been having a few quiet ones and eating our dinner. Thanks for that, Matt. Senior Constable Matt Hale from SAPOL.
All right, let's check traffic and we'll come back with more of your Meat Tray Friday entries and call-outs and tributes to the service of your family members in just a moment. Traffic first.
Slowing through St Mary's around ongoing roadworks at Aylifs Road near Barnett Avenue. The same too in Marion along Oaklands Road near Beaufort Avenue, down to 40 for outbound through there. And in Eastwood at Green Hill Road near Glen Osmond Road, there'll be delays. Also at 40 for outbound travellers. Watch out for speed cameras across the day at Salisbury Highway, Dry Creek, Old Port Wakefield Road, Virginia, and Military Road through Semaphore South. Harris Scarf mid-season sale is on now. Save 60% off full-price cook sets by Swiss Diamond. Exclusions apply. Harris Scarf, great brands, great prices. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
No more. Ugh. No more. If you need to improve your joint mobility and flexibility, try Arbor Vitae Joint Health for the relief of pain and other symptoms associated with mild arthritis and inflammation. Arbor Vitae, it's wellness backed by science. The main ingredient, pycnogenol, has been widely studied for 40 years with more than 160 clinical trials and 450 scientific publications. For more info on Arbor Vitae's products and its own clinical study, visit arborvitae.com.au. That's arborvitae.com.au. Now on sale at all Chemist Warehouse stores. Always read the label and follow the directions for use.
Sometimes the best deals come at the best time of the year. And right now they have. With Mannix and Fujitsu coming together to bring you massive autumn savings on ducted reverse cycle air conditioning. During April and May, save $1,000 with Mannix, plus up to $500 in Fujitsu cashbacks. That's savings up to $1,500. But it won't last or be repeated. Get your free quote today and get it installed in time for winter. Call 1300 Mannix or go online anytime.
Comparing Lawn Hub's Lawn Care Essentials Pack to the stuff you buy at your local hardware store is like comparing barista-made coffee to instant coffee. One is superior. With Lawn Hub's Lawn Care Essentials Pack, you'll get 5 pro-grade lawn treatments, the same sort used on stunning golf greens. And with an easy-to-understand application calendar, Lawn Hub will help you transform your lawn from zero to hero in 4 easy steps. No guesswork, just results. Order direct online from lawnhub.com.au. I grow mine with Lawn Hub.
Real estate is booming in SA, and with Toop & Toop's proven strategies, they're connecting motivated buyers with the right homes, ensuring no opportunity is missed.
While interest rate rises have created uncertainty for some buyers and sellers, demand continues to outweigh supply. Stock levels are currently sitting around 26% below the 5-year average, keeping competition strong.
In a market like this, the right advice matters. You need an agent who understands the data and knows how to guide you to a successful result.
With more than 40 years' experience, Toop & Toop know how to maximise your outcome. Head to their website, toop.com.au, to see how they can help you get the best result.
Knockdown, build 2 with Metro Homes. Move into one and keep the other as an investment. Metro Homes, they do it all for you.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
6 minutes to 7, Michael Packy after the 7 o'clock news will recap the last week in federal politics. It is Anzac Day Eve, and for the meat tray this morning, we are giving you the opportunity to call in and shout out a loved one, a family member who served, be it recent or in the distant past, wherever they served, whatever they did. Tell us how proud you are of them and what they did, and it could win you a meat tray on 5AA Breakfast this morning. Let's head to the Barossa. Yvonne, good morning.
Yes, good morning. I'd like to pay my respects to a gentleman I nursed going back into the early 70s who was at Gallipoli, and he told me that he can vividly remembered being on a little boat and jumping into the water and making a run for it. And he said the soldier who was his best friend, he was shot as no sooner they got out the boat. And I can remember he was a footballer who used to play for West Adelaide, and his name's Jim Strugnall.
That's lovely, Yvonne. Thank you.
Thank you, Yvonne.
There was somebody it was actually really, it must be very emotional going to Gallipoli. Seven last night had a story of people that had gone and were standing out on the beach, and lots had family members who weren't as lucky as Jim, who didn't even make it onto the beach. Their last recorded moment was on the boat. Yeah. They were killed before they even got to set foot there. And to a person, everyone's crying on the beach. It just was... It just standing with their feet just slightly in that water and that same beach, those same rocks on the seafloor surface. It's a remarkable scene. I wonder if we've got any listeners that have made the pilgrimage to Gallipoli to give us a sense of what it's like.
And with that dedication that was written by Ataturk there.
Yes.
the fact that just the geography of it must be quite haunting.
Yeah, it was quite moving. All right, we'll take some more stories in just a moment, but first it's time to jump in the time machine.
It's time to flashback with Michael Smith.
Michael Smith's Flashback, 7 News at 6 o'clock on Sunday nights. Morning to you, Michael.
Good morning, Will and David. I'd like to start this morning with a challenge for both of you. Now, in the old days, you might have won a World Series cricket poster or got a free Coke, but this morning it's just for fame and glory. Can either of you, in under 4 seconds, tell me what the ingredients are of a Big Mac?
Oh, David wins.
2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, onion, pickles on a sesame seed bun.
Winner! Well done, David. Isn't that incredible that a marketing campaign like that has lasted?
It is amazing. It's like, I'm 56 years old. When did the ad come out?
Oh, I think they started that in the 70s, but it's had a few different iterations over the generations. Really, really clever marketing. On Flashback this week, we're looking at the arrival and rise of fast food chains in Adelaide. Interestingly, Macca's was the last major one to get here. The first store opening in 1977. It's still there on Main North Road at Enfield. Colonel Sanders, by contrast, had been here since 1969. He opened his first store, now demolished, on Green Hill Road at Dulwich. And I found a great film, actually, of the Colonel visiting Adelaide in 1976, and he's offered some chicken from an Adelaide chef. No secret herbs and spices, but I'm pleased to say the Colonel was suitably impressed by what was on offer in Adelaide. Hungry Jack's is the really interesting one. The first store opening at Everett Park near Lacornu there on Anzac Highway. But do you guys know why it's called Hungry Jack's here and not Burger King, even though it's pretty much a carbon copy of the American chain?
Well, isn't it sort of named after the guy who started it in Australia, Jack Cowan?
Interestingly, his name was Jack Cowan. It's actually named after a pancake mix. That's a longer story, but the short version is there was an Adelaide entrepreneur called Don Dervin who already had a chain of burger stores called Burger King in Australia. In fact, the first one was on Anzac Highway at Everard Park. So when Burger King America wanted to open up here, he had the naming rights, hence Hungry Jack's. One of the really interesting things about all of them, looking back, is how fast food was marketed to South Australians. And the one thing all the chains had in common was the use of jingles. See how many of these you can remember.
It takes 2 hands to handle a walker, 'cause the burgers are bigger than Hungry Jack's.
And Kentucky Fried Chicken, it's a real meal. So get that mealtime feeling, bang-a-licking good. You deserve a break today, so come on in and get away to McDonald's.
Relax for one night, step in for a night out.
Thank you. You're welcome.
It's gonna be alright.
Come on into the Pizza Hut and get any dessert for just 20 cents.
20 cents not bad in a cost of living crisis, is it? And of course, the other thing is so many South Aussie kids got their first jobs as teenagers at a fast food joint. I was a Macca's kid back in the 80s, so lots of nostalgia to look back on Sunday night.
Oh, yeah. And if only they could bring back the Yumbo as well while we're talking about all of this, Michael. Great flashback, mate. Michael Smith for 7 News.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
Local news and information first. This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Mostly sunny and 27 today with the 7 o'clock news. Good morning, I'm Jess Adamson.
State-of-the-art facilities, hands-on treatments and same-day appointments. 6 locations. PhysioExtra.com.
A man's been arrested after assaulting 3 people in separate incidents in Goodger Street last night. Police say the 38-year-old from Largs Bay attacked a security guard in a hotel just after 7:30. Minutes later, it's alleged he assaulted a woman known to him in the middle of Goodger Street. It's believed the same suspect punched a man in the face about an hour earlier. He was chased by officers into a food court and arrested. He'll face the Adelaide Magistrates Court today, charged with 2 counts of aggravated assault, breaching an intervention order and 1 count of assault. 2 people escaped a house fire at Mitchell Park this morning. They were woken by a smoke alarm at 2 a.m. Firefighters managed to stop the blaze in Malden Avenue from spreading to an adjoining property. The cause and damage bill aren't yet clear. Extra buses will come online tomorrow to ensure South Australians can pay their respects on Anzac Day. Current and former military personnel will be able to travel for free. Transport Minister Joe Sockarch says it's one of the most important days on our calendar.
Bring a friend, bring your family, bring your neighbours, and attend dawn service that's close to you, or of course the one at the National War Memorial in Adelaide.
A near record number of people is expected to gather in Gallipoli this year, despite uncertainty and rising costs triggered by the conflict in the Middle East. About 2,300 people have registered to attend the commemorations in Anzac Cove, most of them Australian. Australian Ambassador to Turkey, Sally Ann Vincent, says Aussies understand how important it is.
We can feel that sense of determination from Australians coming here to commemorate. Some people, they save up for years and years and plan for years and years to come here. I think it takes a lot to deter them.
Adelaide Writers' Week has a new director. Former journalist and long-serving director of the Newcastle Writers' Festival, Rosemary Milsom, has been appointed for the 2027 to 29 festivals. This year's festival was cancelled and the entire board replaced after a mass boycott of authors in the wake of a controversial Palestinian speaker being disinvited. The federal government maintains Australia's petrol, diesel and fertiliser supplies remain secure. The Prime Minister has met with his state and territory counterparts to discuss the ongoing fuel crisis. He's confirmed we have 46 days' worth of petrol in stock, but Anthony Albanese says he's working on contingencies in case that changes.
We'll continue to work to diversify where we can get fuel from, and the key here is achieving supply. That is our top priority.
The US president has flatly rejected suggestions he would ever use a nuclear weapon to end the conflict with Iran. Donald Trump says he'll not be rushed into making a deal, saying he has all the time in the world to secure an agreement, which is good for the US. He says there are worse outcomes than a short-term rise in oil prices due to the war.
I think that there's nothing worse than a nuclear weapon that takes out one of your cities or two of your cities or three. I think there's nothing worse than a nuclear weapon that's going to destroy the Middle East, including Israel. I think there's nothing worse than Europe being under attack.
Turning to 5AA Sport.
Agostino Mitsubishi's is overstocked with demos that must be cleared. Upgrade your vehicle today. Nailsworth and Mawson Lakes.
Tom Wren, it was a tough night for the Bulldogs.
Oh, it's a tough season at the moment for them, isn't it, Jess? They just cannot take a trick. They've suffered another costly defeat, as you mentioned, going down by 66 points to the now ladder leaders, Sydney. They're a good side. Doggies captain Marcus Bontempelli. He was great early, inspiring his team to an early 20-point lead, but it slowly slipped away, and then Doggies spearhead Aaron Norton went down after flying in for a mark. He was stretched off with a neck injury, who have further scans today. Thankfully, doesn't look overly serious. Coach Luke Beveridge says Sydney was just too big, too strong and too good for them.
Whether there was a degree of panic, you give them credit for their pressure, whatever it was, we couldn't afford to play the long kick to contest game. You know, we weren't set up. They got out of congestion better than us. On turnover, they seemed to outnumber us. They got us everywhere after that first quarter and a half.
The teams are also out for the Crows and Port Adelaide. Now the Power are unchanged for tomorrow night's match at home against Geelong, while the Crows have named only a squad to tackle Brisbane on Sunday. Alex Neil-Bullen is out injured, but captain Jordan Dawson has been named after missing last week for personal reasons. Jake Salugo and Dan Curtin are also on the comeback trail, and both of those players will play in the Sandford tomorrow, which is great news. One game in the NRL overnight, the West Tigers 33 to 14-point winners against the Canberra Raiders. To tennis, mixed results for the Aussies at the Madrid Open. Adam Walton's had a win, but Alexei Poprin lost in straight sets. And in a bit of cricket, New Zealand all-rounder Susie Bates has announced her retirement from international cricket. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Tommy. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Lynn Andrews Real Estate, experts in commercial and residential property management. lynnandrews.com.au.
Flowing through Darlington, a breakdown on the Southern Expressway near Marion Road causing some delays. In Crafers, there's barrier damage on the freeway following a previous truck crash near the interchange, with speed restrictions in place affecting both directions through there. And in Ferryden Park at Regency Road near Days Road, it's dropped to 40 for outbound travellers around ongoing works. Every minute of every day, a child is admitted to hospital hospital in Australia. But you can help. Step up for sick kids this May and join Starlight's Super Steps Challenge at supersteps.org.au. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast, mostly sunny and 27 today, 28 tomorrow with a possible late shower, 21 with a shower or two for Sunday, 24 and sunny for Monday ahead of another warm week. Right now it's 20 degrees on 5AA, always Adelaide.
Streaming live via the 5AA Player app on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. This is 5AA, always Adelaide.
Knockdown, build two with Metro Homes. Move into one and keep the other as an investment. Metro Homes, they do it all for you.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
7 after 7, good morning to you and welcome to Friday on 5AA Breakfast, 24th of April. The date is significant because it's Anzac Day Eve, our last show before Anzac Day, and what we thought we'd do this morning is, well, get to know each other and our families all a little bit better, and in the process, celebrate those that have served our country. The meat tray, thanks to the great people at Chanella's, 62 Prospect Road at Prospect. And your task is simple. If there's a family member that you're particularly proud of, someone you'd like to share a little bit about their story who served, tell us about the conflict, tell us about their relationship to you. If you've got a story that goes with it, all the better. But we've absolutely loved this first hour of our callers, and we really appreciate everyone who's called in.
Had some great calls, great stories so far. A lot of texts coming through. Wendy rang about her Uncle Clive and also her son who served. In East Timor and also in Iraq. John rang about his Uncle George. We're getting texts through like this one from Keith in Findon, which includes some wonderful photographs. Keith writes, my granddad George proudly mounted his service medals, and there's also a couple of pics here. Many memories he shared flying Lancasters during World War II. Thanks for that, Keith. And this is nice. Hopefully they were local kids. Someone has sent through a picture of that wonderful new war memorial in Aldinga. The war memorial itself isn't new, but the location is, and they've set it out in nice open space there, just next to the football oval and the new high school. And someone has placed some rocks at the base of the memorial that have all been painted with the words "thank you" on them. It's lovely.
That's fantastic. I encourage everyone as well, if this conversation triggers any memories or a curiosity for you to explore more about your own family, the digital records that are on offer now are unbelievable. You go to the Australian War Memorial site and you'll be able to find stuff about the unit your family member served in, maybe something about their story, some official documents. There is a trove of things, pictures. I found pictures of enlistment and the official paperwork of family members when they signed up for the First World War and so forth. It's unbelievable, and it's actually pretty easy to navigate. So if any of this conversation triggers curiosity, I encourage you to go to the War Memorial website. That's a good place to start, but there's a trove of information online as well. Hey, a little bit later today, it is Foodie Friday time. Stacey Lee will be joined by Chris Jarmer from Jarmer's Kitchen for Foodie Friday after 3 p.m. Building or renovating, your first choice should be visiting the Smeg showroom at Debney Distributors. Taste the difference with Smeg and Powers. He's a wonderful guy, Chris Jarmer. We love him. We talk about his restaurants a lot, but our thoughts are with him as well at the moment with the shocking loss of his nephew.
That story's so just heartbreaking, isn't it?
Absolute tragedy. Travelling in Europe and contracting meningococcal. 4 hours after he got symptoms, he passed away. So our thoughts are with the whole Jarmer family.
Scourge.
All right, let's head to Canberra and recap what has been a big week in federal politics. Michael Packy is the national political editor for Nine Radio. Pack, good morning to you.
Good morning, boys. How are you?
We're good, thank you, Pack. This war drags on and on and on, and every day you wake up and it's the straits are open, the straits are closed, the ceasefire's on, the ceasefire's going to be off. It's hard to keep track of it all, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, look, absolutely. And I think it's been pretty hard, to an extent, for the government as well, in the sense that for us in Australia, it's been all about fuel and these fuel supplies and petrol supplies, diesel supplies, jet fuel supplies. I think the government has done okay, actually pretty well in trying to secure the amount of supplies that we have, given the level of challenges that we face. As you mentioned, 1 minute the strait is open, next minute it's closed, and it's affecting, these oil shipments What I think is interesting, what the Prime Minister said yesterday, is that we're now not only getting oil supplies from our traditional partners in Asia, but it's expanded. We're now starting to bring more oil in from the US, Argentina and Algeria. These are countries where we would just get, a very, very small fraction of fuel, and now we're starting to, in some cases, even double the amount of fuel that's coming in from those countries. The government says that in terms of petrol, there's about 46 days of in reserve, 30 days or so of diesel. But I did notice that Peter Malinauskas, your Premier, yesterday when he was asked about this, he said that it was good that these supplies were coming in, but he, along with a few of the other premiers, are a bit worried about future fuel supplies, especially around that period in June or middle of June, because they reckon that we've got enough until about May and the start of June. But what happens after that, given, the uncertainty of what we hear every day?
It's been a massive wake-up call, hasn't it, Pac? And obviously, people like Chris Bowen have been the focus of a lot of criticism this week with his sort of weird comments about how fossil fuels aren't really the be-all and end-all, and that what's happening in the Middle East has got nothing to do with that, at the same time that the PM's been running around Southeast Asia trying to get them. But not being overly partisan about it, because, we had Liberal governments that didn't pay any attention to the fuel reserves issue after it was a policy by Bill Shorten that he took to an election, but then it just fell off the collective national radar, didn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And, Angus Taylor, the current opposition leader, who was the energy minister when the coalition was in government, he was trying to make some changes around this by trying to keep a few oil refineries open. And now we've got these 2 oil refineries, of which one has been badly damaged, and that's going to cause, some problems for months to come. What I do think is interesting is that, just going back a bit, on the oil refinery, the FIVEAA oil refinery in Geelong, I think the government is saying that FIVEAA and the Ampol refinery won't be getting any further government subsidies to refine diesel, which I actually thought was quite interesting, given that we've only got these 2 refineries and we've got these challenges in getting this fuel through. But you're right, both sides of politics are to blame for what is happening now through the closing of the refineries mainly, and also not having enough of this stockpile. Yes, we've got the 46 days now. Remember that which is a good thing, but remember that the recommendation is 90 days, not 40, not even 46. So we've still got a fair way to go to get just that fuel in reserve. Government is saying, well, if we do get the 90 days in reserve, that may be well and good, but it is going to cost about $20 billion to make sure that we can keep that fuel in reserve, and you've got a budget that's constrained.
Yeah, absolutely. Have a great weekend, Pac. Thanks for that. Michael Packy, the National Political Editor for 9 Radio.
14 after 7. Let's take some Meat Tray Friday entries that David has called in. David, who's the family member you'd like to give a shout-out to this morning?
Yeah, good morning, guys. Look, it's on behalf of my wife. So her family history extends far and wide with military service, but her grandfather was in the Port of Darwin playing tour when it got bombed. He survived, but he spoke about it very little. Her great-grandfather was a bit of a scallywag in World War II, and he kept on going AWOL and eventually married his British wife. But her great-uncles is probably so there was Thomas, Clarence, Lawrence, John and Wilfred Eglinton, and they were from Broughton, Mundura. And unfortunately, only one of the brothers, Thomas, was married, and unfortunately 3 of those brothers were killed in action. One of them was maimed and came home to live a pretty miserable life, from what we understand and what we've researched. And John was discharged to come home and look after the family farm. So it was quite a tragedy, all too familiar for a movie, I guess. But seldomly spoken about, but we always think about it definitely during the course of Anzac Day.
Crikey.
It makes it very humbling to think we sort of get up and go to work every day and do what we do, but these people that put their lives on the line, tragedy.
Yeah, it's full on. It's an amazing story, David. It's like Saving Private Ryan, isn't it?
Well, it quite literally is the same storyline, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you think of some of the statistics in conflict. World War I stands out, of course.
Isn't it?
It's fantastic. Yeah, terrific film. The first 15 minutes is
it's harrowing.
It's an appropriately hard watch for something that deigns to be an accurate reflection of how awful war is.
Yes. I think the scene too, when they're in that French town waiting for the Nazis to come through in their tanks.
Yes,
and they're listening to that. It's like an Edith Piaf type song, sitting on all those French bistro chairs.
Yeah,
and then you hear that. Just imagine hearing the sound of those tanks.
Yeah,
it's just like a demonic sound, isn't it?
Yeah, just awful. All right, let's head to Craigburn Farm. Damien, good morning.
G'day, guys. I'd just like to recognise my father's service. He was in the Australian Navy for 3.5 years through World War II. He happened to be at the surrender of Kowloon by the Japanese, part of a flotilla of Allied forces that entered Hong Kong harbour. And, unfortunately was witness to atrocities that occurred there. But also my father's great uncle, who went to Gallipoli, and like you described, he never made it out of the boat. In the after war, there was investigations by the military about the last witness to see people that had fallen, and the way in which the guy described in the dead of night, the whistle blew, they jumped out of the boat, and he was never seen again.
Crikey. Yeah, it's harrowing, isn't it? Thank you, Damien.
The statistics we've heard, but they're hard to wrap your head around, especially World War I. So 1% of the Australian population perished in the First World War.
So many
60,000 people, or more than, of a population at the time that was just under 5 million people. That's 1 of every 100 people walking around Adelaide, just going to the war. But more than 1 every 10 men enlisted.
Yeah, I know.
It was 500,000 people enlisted. Just staggering.
It is incredible, isn't it?
Led to that remarkable exchange between Prime Minister Billy Hughes at the time, at the Treaty of Versailles, at the end of the First World War, where the US president at the time, they were trying to work out what would become of the German colonies. And Billy Hughes had a really strong view about Papua New Guinea, which had been, what's now Papua New Guinea, but had been a German colony, that it should come to Australia. The view at the time among the other allies was that it should go to Japan, which really would have changed the complexion of World War II from an Australian perspective.
Seriously?
Billy Hughes said,
I didn't know that.
Billy Hughes said, this is ridiculous. And at the time, the US president said to him, Woodrow Wilson said to him, sorry, I think it's a bit inappropriate you piping up from this tiny little country. Well, how many people are you actually speaking for? And Billy Hughes, is one of those famous quotes in Australian history, said, I speak for 60,000 dead. For how many do you speak? Because Australia lost more people in the First World War than the United States.
Yeah.
And the sum of that exchange, Papua New Guinea would become an Australian colony. And, the scene of some very famous battles in the Second World War, of course, none more famous than Kokoda. Imagine if it had been a Japanese colony.
It's incredible.
It would have looked very, very different.
I didn't know that line. That's a great line.
It's a great line, yeah. One of the great lines in Australian political history. 20 after 7, let's check traffic.
Slowing through Darlington with a breakdown on the Southern Expressway near Marion Road. In Crafers, there's barrier damage on the freeway following a previous truck collision near the interchange, with speed restrictions in place affecting both directions. And to Ferryden Park at Regency Road near Daves Road, it's down to 40 for outbound travellers around ongoing works. Power up Android at Telstra. Trade in to trade up your Android phone today. Trade in powered by Assurant. Eligible device and Telstra service required. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The other thing we wanted to do this morning, and amongst hearing your wonderful stories and tributes to your family members, is hear from some other notable Australians and often guests to our program about Anzac Day and indeed the many and varied ways in which it has inspired them, and they've contributed to Australia's proud history as well. Starting with a somewhat regular guest of ours, and a name I'm sure you'll recognise, and if you don't recognise the name, you'll certainly recognise the song.
This Anzac Day, we remember the service,
Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn.
The sacrifice.
At the going down of the sun, and in the morning.
And the personal histories that continue to shape our families.
We will remember them.
This is our Anzac story.
I'm John Schumann, and I'm very proud to be the singer-songwriter responsible for I Was Only 19.
I was only 19.
When I wrote it, I had no idea that it was going to weave itself into our cultural and historical fabric. And I'm very proud of that. I've always thought that Australians are a fair and decent mob. There was some underlying unspoken anxiety and guilt that we hadn't done the right thing by our Vietnam veterans. The story gave us all the chance to look over the fence into the backyard of a Vietnam veteran, and it was like an I get it moment. There is something quintessentially Australian about how we go about things. We go about it with honour and respect and compassion, with courage. But the other thing that I have learned is that when Australians are in a combat situation, when they are fighting for their lives, they're not fighting for the government, they're fighting for their mates.
Honouring the past through the voices of the present, lest we forget.
5AA Mornings with Graham Goodings.
Things got pretty heated in Canberra this week as Australia's gas giants went head-to-head with politicians in what turned out to be a total Senate inquiry showdown. The whole argument centres on one big question. Are Australians actually getting their fair share of the profits from our massive LNG boom?
Graham Goodings.
Richard Dennis.
I blame our parliament, successive parliaments. I blame this government.
Weekday mornings from 9 on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
6 minutes from now, a business in Australia will become a victim of cybercrime. If you're not protected, you're next. Sooner or later, it will be you. FXIT is a nationally trusted cybersecurity company for Australian businesses. Your peace of mind starts with a free cybersecurity audit. The clock's ticking. Don't be the easy win for cybercriminals. Book your free security audit now at fx.com.au/protect.
The most frustrating thing about having your car repaired after a collision can be the wait. Sometimes months. At FIVEAA Panel Services, the wait is one thing you won't have to worry about. We've expanded our workshop and our highly skilled team. It means we're better equipped to deliver an outstanding outcome for you and your car. RAA and MTA approved, FIVEAA Panel Services work with most insurance companies. So ask for FIVEAA Panel Services and get back on the road sooner.
With over 50 years in business and 60 industry awards, Sterling Homes has set the standard. It's a long time in business. To celebrate their achievements, they're inviting you to share your dream with them.
This is great. With Sterling Homes, you can get up to $30,000 worth of luxury upgrades your way at no extra cost. Choose what matters to you. Could be reverse cycle air conditioning, stone bench tops, solar panels and more. Plus 2.7 metre high ceilings are included.
Sterling Homes listens to your must-haves, considers your nice-to-haves and works with you to create your ideal home. Because at Sterling Homes, your home. Visit the display homes across Adelaide. For locations, go to sterlinghomes.com.au. T's and C's apply.
For those whose pool is the main feature of their yard, Walco offer a special mesh cover to keep debris and leaves out while making your pool area look stunning all through winter. Join the great cover-up and ask Walco about their stylish new mesh pool covers. Walco.com.au.
A test drive should test the car, not your patience. In the city, it's traffic lights, roundabouts and stop-start driving. So take your foot off the brake and open it up a little. Come to Barossa Auto Group and test drive all the big brands. Ford, Volkswagen, Honda and Kia. Available to test drive through the stunning Barossa. We'll even buy you lunch to make a day of it. T's and C's apply. Barossa Auto Group. Tanunda and Nuriutpa. Book a test drive today.
When's the best time to install ducted reverse cycle air conditioning? Right now. That's because autumn is the sweet spot. After the summer rush and before the winter demand. And at Mannix, you're sure to get the best deal with up to $1,500 in savings on Fujitsu ducted. Real savings on a trusted brand, but it's only for autumn, only at Mannix. Terms and conditions apply. So don't wait. Call 1300 Mannix for a free in-home or showroom quote or go online anytime.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Knockdown, build two with Metro Homes. Move into one and keep the other as an investment. Metro Homes, they do it all for you.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
Speaking about report cards with distinctions, here's Ginnivan.
Tim Ginnivan on 5AA Breakfast.
Timmy G!
Big weekend of footy ahead. It all started last night, and of course, with the headliner of Anzac Day tomorrow. Lots to talk about. Timmy G joins us. Morning to you, Tim.
Oh, good morning, gentlemen. Yeah, geez, it's just that time of year. Every time it comes along, you sort of it grips you. There's no doubt about that. And having done quite a few things, I went to Villers-Bretonneux, which is a French town that the Australians they love. The Aussies, and I went there because I did a couple of days in the Somme, and I got to say, I couldn't say that it was an amazing experience. It was just so leveling, and just brought me just into a different world. And there's this little school in Villers-Bretonneux that have a sign up in there. They have the Australian arms on the front of their building. And they celebrate Anzac Day every year, and they actually have a sign up there saying, "Let us never forget Australia." It's just amazing stuff. And yeah, I heard your numbers there, Will, about World War I. That was just and that's what is so sobering about it. You go and read these signs and these stories of all these different people, and this old fella's written this thing, and he lost his brother, and he comes back every year. While he was alive to visit the site of where he lost his brother. And he writes this story, and he goes, and what was it all about? It was a bloody waste of life, and it was all over a family row. It just unbelievable. Just brought it back to reality. It's like, wow, he's spot on, It was such a waste of life. Wicked. So, and I love that bit you just had on with John Schumann. Terrific bloke, Johnny. I've been able to spend a bit of time with him. But last year I went to Vietnam and went and visited the tunnels, and we had this driver who couldn't speak English, but we did it through the Google Translate, and he kept giving me the phone to read it, and he said, "My father helped the Americans during the Vietnam War," and he said. The Americans, when they were about to evacuate, said, "Listen, you better come with us because they won't let you survive."
Wow!
And he said, "Oh well, I'd like to sort of bring my family," and I said, "There's no time." And so they took his father, and his mother had to raise him and his 5 siblings on her own because they would have murdered him. And he said that because of that, and they knew that he worked for the Americans. Their family, for 3 generations, are not allowed to hold a job other than labour.
Really? Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
To this day.
To this day,
that's
and it's still going down to his son. So his son will only be allowed to do a labour job.
That's extraordinary.
When you said the tunnels, was that those Chu Chi tunnels, the Viet Cong tunnels?
Yeah, and
Did you go into them?
Well, I attempted, and he said no. Wisely, I think, because it just gets thinner and darker and all the rest of it. But the network that was underneath there was incredible. It went all the way to Saigon, which is this would be like being at Victor Harbour to Adelaide. The tunnels went all the way underneath, all the way through to Saigon, which is Ho Chi Minh now. Just a staggering insight, and he actually took me to an Australian war memorial, if you like, to celebrate the Aussies. But he said that it's there, but it's looked after every day. It's cleaned, but it is not allowed to have any signage.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
They're great memories.
Incredible story. So I think when you play football, it puts all of that into perspective. And I think this weekend when we've got all these rounds of football, you sort of, again, it just brings you back to, what's really important. And that is celebrating your family and hopefully enjoying a pint of pasty at the footy.
Yeah, correct. If there's ever a day, Timmy, we're going to get you on and not talk sport, this is the right day for it. Good on you, Tim. Thanks for your story.
Hooroo.
Appreciate it. Tim. Getting some lovely text through and some terrific stories on the open line as well. Keep your calls coming in. We're going to get to some more on the other side of 5AA News.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Mostly sunny and 27 today with the 7:30 news. Good morning, I'm Jess Adamson.
Physio Extra, keeping you healthy. Marion, Peary Street, Norwood, Hallett Cove, Seaford and Victor Harbour. PhysioExtra.com.
A man will face court today charged with assaulting 3 people in Goodger Street last night. Police say the victims include a woman known to the suspect, a security guard in a hotel and a man who was punched in the face. Senior Constable Matt Hale has told David and Will officers moved quickly.
Eastern District Police quickly responded and the man was chased on foot into a nearby food court where he was arrested.
The 38-year-old Largs Bay man has been charged with assault, aggravated assault and breaching an intervention order. 2 people have had a lucky escape after a fire at Mitchell Park this morning thanks to a smoke alarm. MFS crews were called to Malden Avenue at 2 a.m. to find the back of the home alight. They managed to stop it from spreading to an adjoining property. Fire investigators will head to the scene this morning. The damage bill and cause is still unclear. Flight disruptions and war in the Middle East hasn't deterred hundreds of Australian pilgrims from travelling to Gallipoli, where final preparations are underway for this year's dawn service. Josh Bavis reports from Anzac Cove.
This year's dawn service in Gallipoli will be one of the biggest since the centenary in 2015. About 2,300 have registered to attend. Most of them are Aussies. Australia's Ambassador Sally Ann Vincent says the travel advice has not changed and officials are well prepared to host the service. The peninsula is abuzz where security is tight and the Department of Veterans Affairs is making sure proceedings run safely and smoothly. A tradition held on the sacred grounds where more than 130,000 people from a number of countries lost their lives, including more than 8,000 Australians.
Vegetable prices could spike by 50% as farmers cut back on planting due to rising costs. Fertiliser costs have more than doubled and some farmers aren't sure they'll have enough fuel to harvest or move crops. The veggie prices affected the most include leafy greens, zucchini and capsicum. The US President is warning Iran the clock is ticking as he rejects suggestions that he's anxious to end the war. Donald Trump insists a permanent deal will only be made when it's appropriate and good for the United States. But former National Security Advisor with the Trump administration, John Bolton, says there must be a strong message sent on the Strait of Hormuz or the issues will continue into the future.
I think if we try to get out of this without having demonstrated military dominance over the Strait of Hormuz, the Iranian regime is going to use this like a light switch. They're going to turn the Strait of Hormuz off and on when it suits them.
Meanwhile, the temporary ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon is being extended. The 3-week agreement was reached following talks between officials from both countries hosted by the US in the Oval Office. Hundreds of people have been killed in strikes in Lebanon since the conflict with Iran spiralled. Vice President J.D. Vance says the extended pause in hostilities brings us closer to a permanent understanding.
I think it's a major historic moment. We're going to extend the ceasefire for 3 weeks that's already in place between Israel and Lebanon. Of course, it wouldn't have happened without the president's direct engagement. The fact that you have these leaders of different countries coming together for the first time.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Agostino Mitsubishi's is overstocked with demos that must be cleared. Upgrade your vehicle today. Nailsworth and Mawson Lakes.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Jess. The Western Bulldogs have now slipped back to 8th on the AFL ladder after going down to ladder leaders Sydney by 66 points at Marvel Stadium last night. Doggies coach Luke Beveridge says it was just one of those games where nothing really went right.
It turned really, really ugly for us. 15 back half turnovers in a quarter. That last quarter we gave. It's just a world record, and that's skill, it's composure, it's fatigue, many things. So we've got to work through that together and remain optimistic.
Forward Aaron Norton suffered a sickening fall and hurt his neck and was stretchered from the ground, but it's hoped he only strained it, although he will have further scans today. Meantime, the Crows have named Jordan Dawson to play against Brisbane on Sunday after they named an extended squad. He returns after missing last week for personal reasons. But Alex Neil-Bullen is out with a minor knee complaint. Port is unchanged for tomorrow's clash against Geelong at home. Let's go to basketball. Adelaide 36's general manager Matt Weston admits the agony of losing the grand final series to the Sydney Kings is still burning. The Sixers were millimetres away from breaking a 24-year title drought, but ultimately fell in overtime in the deciding Game 5. Western telling Rowie and Timmy G they'll look to use it as fuel moving forward.
I think we'll probably get over it when we win one. Until then, it's going to stay with us, and that can be good motivation.
And a couple of games in the NBA playoffs yesterday with the Detroit Pistons levelling up their series against the Orlando Magic at a game apiece. That's after winning Game 2, 98-83, while the Oklahoma City Thunder took care of the Phoenix Suns 120-107 to lead their series 2-0. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Tom. Let's check the 5AA traffic.
Lynn Andrews Real Estate, experts in commercial and residential property management. lynnandrews.com.au.
Ongoing roadworks through St Mary's have Ayless Road near Barnett Avenue slowing down. Around Parafield Gardens at Kings Road near Lakeview Drive, also down to 40 in both directions around works. And the same too through Ferryden Park at Regency Road near Days Road, also dropping to 40 for outbound travellers. Keep an eye out for speed cameras across the day at President Avenue Andrews Farm and along the Salisbury Highway through Dry Creek. Australian Super, nearly $4 trillion. Bring it home, turbocharge our economy, jobs, growth, jobs, growth. Newdeal.au, authorised by Clive Palmer for the United Australia Party Gold Coast. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Mostly sunny and 27 today, 28 tomorrow with a possible late shower, 21 with a shower or two for Sunday, 24 and sunny for Monday ahead of another warm week. Right now it's 20 degrees on 5AA, always Adelaide.
Living with diabetes? Ditch finger pricks with Freestyle Libre, the wearable sensor that monitors glucose levels straight to your phone. Trial it now for only $15 at freestylelibre.com.au. T's and C's apply. Follow directions for use.
All summer, your pool's been working overtime like a teenager non-stop snacking. Now, it's time to put it to sleep. Your pool, that is. Head to the Pool Supermarket at O'Halloran Hill, Adelaide's mega pool store, and pick up a Winterizer liquid pack. It's the best way to put your pool to sleep for winter. And right now, mention you're a 5AA listener and you'll pay just $50, normally $111. Pool Supermarket, South Road, O'Halloran Hill, poolsupermarket.com.au.
5AA's Tech Talk with your host, Adelaide Tech Guy Richard Pascoe. Thanks to Harvey Norman Computers.
All right, if you've been thinking about upgrading your laptop, now's actually a very smart time to do it. Harvey Norman has up to 25% off selected big brand laptops, and there are some genuinely strong deals in there. For example, the Acer Aspire Go with an Intel Core 5 processor is down to $628. That's a $270 saving. The Lenovo IdeaPad Slim 3 Copilot Plus is $998, saving you $400. And the HP OmniBook X Flip 14, a really versatile 2-in-1, now $1,498, save $400. So whether it's work, study, or just something faster and more reliable, it's worth a look. Best range, best brands, best prices, up to 25% off selected laptops at Harvey Norman now. Conditions apply.
Check out this great offer at a Harvey Norman store near you.
Get saving now with City Discount Tyres. We're offering great deals on the world's top brands in tyres, wheels, suspension and parts. Suitable for four-wheel drives, SUVs and passenger cars, including Falcon, Michelin, Pirelli, Kumho, Hankook and many more. Finance options available. Search citydiscounttires.com.au and locate your nearest dealer today. City Discount Tyres. We're driven by value.
Your lawn is about to face its toughest months of the year. Are you prepared, David?
Hop to it. I am, because I've actually got one of these. Lawn Hub's Amateur Pack. It's got everything you need to get your lawn through winter and out the other side looking lush and green. But you need to start now. The Lawn Hub Amateur Pack contains pre-emergent weed control, cold weather fertiliser, a wetting agent and more.
And here's what everyone loves. It comes with an easy-to-follow application calendar. It literally tells you what to use and when. Now, Lawn Hub is South Australian-owned, which is important because these products are locally developed for Aussie conditions. They're not mass-produced shelf fillers.
And how handy is this? Right now, if you order this month, you go in the draw to win a $3,000 BP fuel voucher. Order direct online now at lawnhub.com.au. T's and C's apply.
Hi, Brady Bitt here for Mawson Lakes Mazda with a little secret of how you can get behind the wheel of a new Mazda. You can unlock their end of financial year deals early. You heard right. We can give them to you right now. That's immediate delivery on all makes, models and colours. Plus low-K demos must go. No gimmicks, just early end of financial year deals and the best customer support for you and your shiny new Mazda. Mawson Lakes Mazda, Salisbury Highway, just a short drive from the city.
Knockdown, build 2 with Metro Homes. Move into one and keep the other as an investment. Metro Homes, they do it all for you.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
19 minutes to 8 if you're joining us for the first time on this Friday morning. Well, we've got a meat tray. I think this might be the most democratic meat tray we've ever had, in the sense that I suspect just about everyone listening can participate. Because
I also think that it's actually almost impossible to judge.
It is. There is no judgment here. We're going to randomly pick someone that gets the meat tray. With the meat tray, thanks to Chanel, so you know it's going to be great. We've received so many wonderful messages over the course of the morning. People appreciate hearing the stories, and so do we, frankly. We love hearing from our listeners, giving you, our other listeners, an insight into their family, their family members who have served, a little bit about their story. We're getting to know a lot of people and a lot of wonderful South Australians over the course of the morning. Let's head to Glenelg North. Helen has called in. Good morning to you, Helen.
Good morning. My father and his brother were part of the Rats of Tobruk, second 48 Infantry, that was in the Second World War. I just wanted to read you out a little poem, if I could, very briefly. My granddaughter, who was 10 years old, she wrote this last year on Remembrance Day. I think they had a service at school, but this is what she wrote. Remembering. Iridescent poppies bloom with the roses lining the branches. A field of grass and one of war. Songs so sad, but of peace once more. Countries they clash and people they fall. We love those who left, lost but never forgotten. Bodies lay heavy before it begins, for it is a war and no one ever wins, lest we forget.
That's beautiful, Helen.
For 10 years old, it's unbelievable, isn't it?
It's incredible, yeah. It's a wonderful, wonderful poem.
It is beautiful, yes. I just wanted to share that because it was so lovely.
Thank you for that, Ellen. It is
great work,
wonderful.
Ellen.
And to the Rats of Tobruk, I mean, I think people know them by name, but talk about an undertaught element of Australian war history. We know Gallipoli, we know the tragedy and the senselessness of it. The Rats of Tobruk story is a story of Australian excellence and exceptionalism. These guys went to Tobruk, they took it from the Italians, then they hurled it against Rommel's Germans that had never lost a battle on land until that point.
So this is North Africa.
This is North Africa. This is on the
German tank warfare, right?
That's right, on the Mediterranean. These guys dug into sand that was hard. You picture digging into, in the First World War, when you're digging into Western Europe and it's muddy and sloppy. This was desert sand. It wasn't designed to be building trenches and things. And these guys helped this city where for large periods their ships were cut off because it's the Mediterranean. It was hotly contested at the time. These guys held it. And then these same guys, when the Africa campaign was over, went to New Guinea and fought the Japanese there. And the legend of the Rats of Tobruk under Leslie Morshead is they gave the Germans their first defeat on land in North Africa and the Japanese their first defeat in Asia when they tried to head south towards Port Moresby. That story and Leslie Morshead, I think, should be required reading for everyone growing up in Australia. And this is why one of the reasons why I'm really passionate about the Second World War, and not to discredit the first, is that these guys were all. This is the first generation of guys that were both born in Australia that then rose up to become the guys who commanded Australians. Because the First World War was all the Brits. And there was still a bit of that, certainly in the Navy and things in the Second World War, but a lot of these guys were the first time it was Australian soldiers led by Australians.
And it was a sense of, like, we weren't doing it for the Empire, we were doing it for ourselves.
That's right. There was a sense of autonomy about it as well. Like we're there under our own guidance. So thank you for that story, Helen. That was spectacular.
It's a resonant name, isn't it? Just looking on Google Maps, Tobruk, obviously, in Libya, which was an Italian colony.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
and they had Somaliland, they had Abyssinia.
Well, they had the war in Ethiopia that sort of kicked things off. But then the British colonies were like Egypt and Iraq and that sort of area, so they butted up against one another.
We're just looking Tobruk Avenue, St Mary's, Tobruk Avenue, Kilburn, Tobruk Bridge in Penfield Gardens, Tobruk Drive, Salisbury Heights. It's that name resonates for a reason, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. All right, let's head to Peter Haverhook, the RSL president in Unley, because there's a really wonderful local story that's developed over the course of this week with regard to some lost medals that was found in an op shop and have been reunited with the family of the person who won them. Peter, good morning to you. Thanks for your time. So tell us when you became involved in this story and a little bit about the family at the centre of it.
Sure. It was about mid last year. We got an email completely out of the blue from an op shop in Melbourne. We had no connection to them. This gentleman, his name was Jason Silverstein, lovely bloke, had been he had found these medals donated to them and been trying to find someone to help him find the family. He'd gone to the War Memorial, several RSLs on the East Coast, and just complete roadblocks or people weren't getting back to him. So he had researched this guy. As you might know, on the edge of each rim of the medal is the person's name, the recipient's name, and their service number. So he could look them up and found they were from Adelaide. Somehow found our little sub-branch and sent me an email. So we decided we'd try and help him.
Now, that sounds... been watching the story on 7 last night, Peter. It was the Distinguished Flying Medal was the one. Was that the one that allowed you to track it to the family?
Yeah. Fortunately, all medals have the gentleman's service number on it, the recipient's service number, their name, so that helps. But being a recipient of a rare medal like the Distinguished Flying Medal does make it a bit easier. So, yeah, it's a significant medal to have received. When someone's ex-military sees a group like that, a set of 7 medals, you instantly realise this person's had a significant career and a long career. So you know that it makes the research a little bit easier.
Well, it's an extraordinary story, Peter.
It's what we were able to find out was they belonged to Ken Peters. He grew up in Millicent, enlisted in World War II. I think by way of Peterborough, he was working up on the railways, but through his family in Edwardstown, became an air crew. He goes on to serve. He was shared with the RAF Bomber Command in England. So I heard just some of you speaking about Aussies commanding Aussies in World War II. I think it was commonplace in World War II to send some of our Royal Australian Air Force guys over that way. He's flying in the back of a Sterling bomber, a heavy bomber, and doing raids in 1943 over Berlin, no less. Occupied Germany.
Wow.
We've got a transcript of what he said about that night. We're going to share at our dawn service. And it's just truly amazing. But he was effectively hanging out the back of a bomber and Messerschmitts flying at him, within 400 metres, trying to shoot them. And they lost, some of their own guns, turret guns, and he was able to take down those planes. And there's a first-hand account of what he told about that night. But from that action, he was awarded the Distinguished Flying Medal.
For listeners in the Unley area, Peter, whereabouts is the dawn service tomorrow?
Yeah, we're at the Unley Soldiers Memorial Gardens, 206 Unley Road.
Oh, cool.
So we'll start at about 5:35 a.m. We always get a pretty good response. We expect 4,000 or 5,000 people to turn up. Really great community.
It's a wonderful park. It's a wonderful garden there. And mate, I understand you're also going to be part of the Anzac commemoration before the Sturt Glenelg game in Unley too, yeah? We are, yeah. We've actually got 3 football games to host that day. The Sturt game at 2 o'clock, and encourage your listeners to come and join us. We'll also be helping Goodwood Saints Div 1 women's match, and the Gorunga Rams Div 1 men's match at 2 o'clock as well. Yeah, I think it's great the way sport becomes a vehicle for making everybody stop and think. No bigger example of that than the Essendon Collingwood game at the MCG, but it's great that local grassroots footy is doing its bit as well. Thanks for joining us, Peter. Peter Haverhock, the Unley RSL president.
All right, let's take another story. Let's go to Mitcham. Jill, good morning.
Good morning. Yes, a friend of mine just told me to ring through because my father flew Lancasters. I was just listening to that really interesting story. He was in Bomber Command as well, flew over to 207 Squadron and did 32 missions over Germany, and his first trip was Berlin, 7.5 hours. Yeah, I know. People say to me, did he live? Well, of course he lived because I'm alive. And he was a bomb aimer, trained, and from Adelaide, flew Tiger Moth to train, went via Sydney and then to New York, to Edmonton to train in Edmonton in Canada, and posted over to England. And he ended up being the only Australian left on his squadron because all died. But he flew quite a few missions, and the second to last mission when he was flying, the plane was very badly shot up, and being a bomb aimer, he had the front guns, and in his logbook, which we still have, he shot down 3 German planes and had to land them with no wheels and on grass with 1,000-pound bombs still attached to the plane. But the worst thing that people don't realise, he came back in February 45, just before war finished, because his tour was up. And when they landed in Sydney, a guy called Peter Rees wrote a book about Lancaster men. And I've always knew the story that he was treated really badly when they came back. They had big placards at Sydney Harbour saying Island Dodgers, sitting in England having cups of tea, and they threw all his gear in the Sydney Harbour. He had to hitchhike back to Adelaide, and the RSL would not let him into the RSL because he had the distinguished, the emblem of the English, flying in England, Bomber Command, and a lot of the pubs wouldn't accept them in, and Peter Rees wrote this story. So people don't realise that they were treated quite badly. And when he came back to Adelaide, we lived at Clare, and they used to march, and when we came to Adelaide to live, the RSL would not let him march because he was in an English squadron and not an Australian squadron, and he said, you don't belong to any squadron. So I had to sit on my dad's shoulders and watch the Anzac make march. The worst thing is, ended up getting MS when I was a child, and ended up being a quadriplegic in the Julia Farr Centre for 15 years. And eventually, they said, do you want to go in the bus and have a look at the march? We said, not too late now. But just those little stories that people don't realise how they were treated badly, and you always knew how the Vietnam vets were treated when they came back, because he had the same story. It's very unknown about that. There's a guy called Peter Rees who wrote the book, but midnight in England, on the 207 Squadron, I went over there in 2010 and managed to go to the Kirkby museum. They've got the Just Jane Lancaster there, and they take it out on the tarmac, and they have the engines roaring. It's incredible. Then you can do a tour on the plane, and I can't believe how small it is in there. It's like a little bubble.
Yeah, with how many people they had on board.
Yeah, I went down the rear gunner thinking, how did they ever survive down there? But his crew, basically the same crew nearly all the way through, and his pilot was a DFC, so I think they were quite lucky. And but just going over the big, huge crossbar, I'm not very big, and I found it really, really tight in there. And when they had the engines going, it was just incredible to hear the roar of those planes.
What an experience, Jill. That was terrific. Wow. Thank you for that. We appreciate it. Jill in Mitcham. Steve and Tony have got stories of family members as well they'd like to share. We're going to hear from them right after the break.
Slowing through Parafield Gardens at Kings Road near Lakeview Drive, down to 40 in both directions around ongoing roadworks. The same too through Bedford Park at Marion Road near Sturt Road. Speeds reduced through there as well. And in Marion along Oaklands Road near Beaufort Road, down to 40 for outbound. Watch out for speed cameras across the day at Port Wakefield Road, Mawson Lakes, and Seaview Road in Henley Beach. Kmart, your one-stop destination for everyday low prices on essentials you need and love. Shop in-store, online and via the Kmart app. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
A smashed or damaged windscreen can happen in a heartbeat, but it does get worse if you don't go to your local Complete Windscreens to get it fixed. You could be waiting weeks, and look, that's not on. Complete Windscreens has windscreens and glass for all makes and models in stock right now, with 15 technicians standing by to get you back on the road. You don't need to wait. Tell your insurance company you want Complete Windscreens on the job. CompleteWindscreens.com.au. Look for the big red koala.
Is it the best Beechwood home ever made? Possibly, but there's always more to come from Beechwood. Introducing the Caliente, now open for viewing. The Caliente is a multi-level masterpiece of design, innovation and style. Taking inspiration from Palm Springs in California, it's definitely a conversation starter. The team at Beechwood can't wait for you to see it at 10 Simon Crescent, Craigburn Farm. Open Saturdays and Sundays, 1 to 4:30 p.m. Life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home.
At Specsavers Audiology, we've screened over 8 million ears and we'll keep screening, because when it comes to hearing care, we're a little bit obsessed. Book a free 15-minute hearing check with a Specsavers hearing expert today. If further testing is required, a fee may apply.
Now, hang on a minute. I'm just getting all these pieces of paper in completely the wrong order. Now, I want to talk about Thorn Clark Wines. This
Please do.
one of the discoveries of 2026, Will, went up, well, last year actually, 2025, went up there with the kids. There's nothing like finding a hidden gem, especially when it leads to your new favourite bottle of wine. As I said, Thornclark Wines in the beautiful Barossa Valley is a family-owned boutique winery combining tranquility with perfectly curated wines.
Yeah, you'll be asking yourself, why haven't I been here before? As you take in the sprawling gardens and the panoramic views. And you can also enjoy a wine tasting that will be customised to you, all while enjoying a platter of local Barossa Valley produce.
And it's such a great day with family or with mates. End your day at the driving range overlooking the Eden Valley Vineyard. Swing the wrenches, hit a few balls into the paddocks, take home a few bottles from their Sandpiper and Shopfire ranges, especially the new Shopfire Collector's Heritage Edition Shiraz.
Next time you head to the Barossa Valley, go the extra mile. Make Thornclark Wines your first stop. Cellar door open 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Friday to Sunday.
Hi, Brady Bit here for Mawson Lakes Mazda with a little secret of how you can get behind the wheel of a new Mazda. You can unlock their end of financial year deals early. You heard right, we can give them to you right now. That's immediate delivery on all makes, models and colours. Plus low-K demos must go. No gimmicks, just early end of financial year deals and the best customer support for you and your shiny new Mazda. Mawson Lakes Mazda, Salisbury Highway, just a short drive from the city.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Knockdown, build two with Metro Homes. Move into one and keep the other as an investment. Metro Homes, they do it all for you.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
3 minutes to 8, let's head to Broadview. Steve, the family member you'd like to shout out on this Anzac Day Eve, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, Dave and Will. It's great to talk to you. Yeah, my dad served in the Royal Australian Navy on a ship repatriating the diggers from the islands in the war. And he sent home this poem, which I'd love to share with you. It's not a long one, so I know you're short of time.
No, go for it.
It reads, "How long before this war will end, and to home shores we once more trend? Japs know we're bound for Borneo, for we heard them on the radio. But of these Aussies we have no doubt, we know they'll put the Jap to rout. Some may die in tropic hell, but Digger stands where Digger fell. They'll wrest this land from evil foe, so on we sail to Borneo. And as I think of home and wife, all our plans for future life, I curse this rotten scourge called war, but I know what I'm fighting for."
That's terrific, Steve.
What a wonderful little piece of writing.
Your old man wrote that, Steve?
Yes, he did. He was, when he came home, he was a man that served a lot for the community, a builder, built a lot of homes around Adelaide, and yeah, he was a wonderful man.
What a brilliant thing to have.
That's a great little pice of writing. Doesn't it capture the moment too? Thank you, Steve. We'll quickly get Tony and Two Wells in before we go to 5AA News. Morning, Tony.
How you going, guys? I was a bit nervous about coming on, but yeah, my dad did the whole 6 years of World War II. He was in the first couple of thousand people to join up in South Australia, from Arthurton down to Adelaide, and he thought he was going on an adventure, I think, but I think it quickly worked out that it wasn't an adventure. He did the 7 medals. So posthumously got one for Greece, he was on Crete in about the 1970s. But prior to that, he had the 6 campaigns, like Middle East and everywhere. And obviously, Crete was the lucky one because they were very lucky to get off of Crete.
Yeah.
And then they finished with New Guinea, which was, even though they got malaria 6 times there or something, that was it was the easiest because they had air support in the last one. And it was a bit of a romantic story. He was a bit of a larrikin. He used to call him Skeet because he was little, like a mosquito. And he met my mum in Townsville during the war and married her and brought her back to South Australia. And he wrote a poem about when he was on Crete. I could quickly say it if you want.
Sure.
He said he wrote the poem, and then many years after he died, it was published. And someone else said they wrote it, so we never got a chance to ask Dad, but he never gave us any reason that he would ever tell a lie, but who knows. It says, "On the Isle of Doom," which was Crete, "Here I sit on the Isle of Crete, bludging on my blistered feet. Little wonder I've got the blues, with feet encased in big canoes. Khaki shorts instead of slacks, living like a tribe of blacks. Except the blacks don't sit and brood and wait throughout the day for food. 'Twas just a month ago in that war we sailed to Greece to win the war. We moaned and groaned beneath our load while bombers bombed us off the road. They chased us here, they chased us there, the devils chased us everywhere. And while they dropped their loads of death, we cursed the bloody RAF. Yeah, the RAF was there in force. They left a few at home, of course. We saw an entire force one day when a Spitfire spat the other way. And then we heard the wireless news when portly Winston gave his views. The RAF, he said, in Greece are fighting hard to give us peace. And so we scratched our heads and thought, this smells distinctly like a rort. And if in Greece the Air Force be, then where the bloody hell are we? And then at last we met the Hun at odds of 33-1. And though he made it pretty hot, we gave the devil all we got. The bullets whizzed, the big guns roared, and we howled for ships to get aboard. At length they came and we got on and hurried from that cursed spot. And then they landed us on Crete and marched us off our cursed feet. The food was light, the water crook, and I get fed up and slung the hook. Returned that night full up with wine, and the next day copped the £2 fine. My paybook was behind the hell. When the pay was called, I said, oh well. When they won't pay me, I'm sure of that. And when they did, I smelled a rat. The next day when no rations came, I realised their wily game. So sooner than sit down and die, we'd spend our dibs on food supplies. And now it will look like even betting that a man will soon become a cretin and spend his days in blackest gloom on Adolf Hitler's Isle of Doom, written by one who got away.
Tony, that was amazing. Thank you.
Up-to-the-minute news for South Australia. This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
Mostly sunny and 27 today with the 8 o'clock news. Good morning, I'm Jess Adamson.
State-of-the-art facilities, hands-on treatments and same-day appointments. 6 locations. PhysioExtra.com.
A man will face court today charged with the unprovoked assaults of 3 people in Goodger Street. Police say the 38-year-old Largs Bay suspect punched a man in the face at 6:30 last night. An hour later, it's alleged he walked into a hotel and attacked a security guard. Minutes after that, a woman known to him was assaulted. Police chased him to a nearby food court and arrested him. He's been charged with assault, aggravated assault and breaching an intervention order. Anyone who captured mobile phone footage of the attacks is asked to call Crime Stoppers. The man at the centre of a sickening crash which claimed the lives of 4 police officers in Victoria is suing the force. Stephanie Wacklerwick reports.
Richard Pusey was pulled over by Highway Patrol for driving his Porsche at high speed on the Eastern Freeway in 2020 when a truck ploughed into them, killing 4 officers. Pusey was charged after he filmed one of the dying officers on his phone. He is now suing police for trauma suffered as a result of witnessing the horror crash, his lawyers claiming the officers who pulled him over were negligent.
Newly released court documents reveal Ben Robert-Smith booked flights to Spain months before his arrest at Sydney Airport. They also show he had contact with an immigration lawyer and vacated his Brisbane unit. The Victoria Cross recipient is on bail, reporting 3 times a week to police after being charged with war crimes, which he denies. The number of Gen Z Australians unwilling to make personal sacrifices to protect Australia is on the rise. 26% of people in the 14 to 29-year-old age group refused to get involved even if Australia was under serious threat. The survey also finding up to 3/4 of Gen Z believes a world war is imminent. A record number of hospitality businesses have shut up shop in the last 12 months. Gabrielle Hodson reports.
In the year to March, 11% of businesses in the food and beverage sector closed for good. That's a record high, according to Creditor Watch, which also says hospitality has the worst insolvency rates over that period at more than 2%. What makes that scary is those stats are from before the Iran war. Restaurant operators have told the Financial Review their margins have become even tighter, with food becoming more expensive and diners increasingly short on cash. Some are reporting a new trend, though. Diners who would have gone to a restaurant for a steak are swapping it for a schnitzel at the pub.
People giving out financial advice to followers on social media are being put on notice by the financial regulator. ASIC is launching a fresh crackdown on so-called finfluencers, issuing warning notices to 4 individuals suspected to be providing unlicensed advice or engaging in deceptive conduct. Commissioner Alan Kirkland says people should never make major investment decisions based solely on something they see online.
If you're giving financial advice in Australia, you need to be appropriately qualified and licensed, and we're concerned about influencers that are giving out financial advice on social media without the appropriate licence, and that's why we're cracking down on them.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Agostino Mitsubishi's is overstocked with demos that must be cleared. Upgrade your vehicle today. Nailsworth and Mawson Lakes.
Good morning again, Tom Wren.
And to you as well, Jess. We'll start with footy. Adelaide captain Jordan Dawson has been named in an extended squad to play in Sunday's match against Brisbane at the Gabba. Dawson missed last week for personal reasons, but will at this stage line up against the Lions. Crows assistant Jack Homch telling Rowie and Timmy G they'll continue to support their skipper as best they can.
The club's sort of working closely with Dawson. He's clearly had a really, really tough time of it. So, we'll work closely with him and when he's ready to put his hand up to play and, sort of working with him at the moment.
Alex Neil-Bullen won't play in the match because of a knee injury. Meantime, the Power are unchanged for tomorrow night's clash against Geelong at home. And there was one match last night with Sydney smashing the Bulldogs by 66 points. Aaron Norton hurt his neck in a sickening fall, but it's hoped he's only suffered a strained neck and there's no long-term damage. Let's go to soccer. FIFA has confirmed Iran will play in the World Cup. Meantime, Adelaide United's players will hold a light training run today ahead of Sunday's final regular season match in the A-League against Melbourne City. The Reds are currently third, but can jump up to second with a win and if Auckland don't win. Briefly elsewhere, New Zealand all-rounder Susie Bates has announced her retirement from international cricket, one of the sport's all-time greats calling it quits at the end of this year's T20 World Cup. And darts young gun Luke Littler has shot through to the semi-finals of the Premier League Championship in Liverpool. He'll now face Dutchman Michael van Gerwen for a spot in the final. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Tom. Let's check the traffic.
Lynn Andrews Real Estate, experts in commercial and residential property management. lynnandrews.com.au.
Slowing through Paraka, a burst water main at Bridge Road near Pratt Avenue causing some delays. In Fairview Park, urgent sewer works are happening at Yattlett Vale Road near Hancock Road. And to Crafers, there's some barrier damage on the freeway following a previous truck crash near the interchange with speed restrictions in place affecting both directions. Carpet Court's window furnishings Spend and Save is on now. Save $100 when you spend $1,000 on blinds, shutters, curtains and shears. Spend and save on now at Carpet Court. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
To the weather, mostly sunny and 27 today, 28 tomorrow with a possible late shower, 21 with a shower or two for Sunday, 24 and sunny for Monday ahead of another warm week. Right now it's 20 degrees on 5AA, always Adelaide.
Hi, I'm Bronte Manuel from Toop and Toop. Interest rate rises have created uncertainty for some buyers and sellers, but demand continues to outweigh supply. Stock levels are currently sitting around 26% below the 5-year average, keeping competition strong. In a market like this, the right advice matters. You need an agent who understands the data and knows how to guide you to a successful result. With over 40 years of experience, Toop and Toop knows how to maximise your outcome. Visit toop.com.au.
Follow your AFL team across the country with AFL Travel. Flights, accommodation and epic footy experiences all in one place. And what a goal it is! Book now at afltravel.com.au. AFL Travel, fly like a star.
Effects IT.
Now, you know what hackers love? A busy finance team. A Friday afternoon and one email saying, we've changed our bank details. One fake invoice, one payment, then the money's gone. The lawyers are involved and everyone wants answers.
That's right. It's so easy to get tricked. That's why you've got to protect your business. It's not a luxury. It's a necessity. And remember, even if you think you're protected, it might not be enough because cybercrime evolves every day.
The best thing you can do right now is get in touch with a trusted cybersecurity company called FXit, spelled EFEX. Get in touch with FX IT and organise your free cybersecurity audit.
FX helps protect Adelaide businesses from hackers and it gives you peace of mind.
Don't be the easy win for cyber criminals. Book your free security audit now at efex.com.au/protect. That's efex.com.au/protect.
You can rent a little, you can rent a lot. Whatever you're doing, wherever you're going,
you can rely on Red Spot to get you there. We're the all-Aussie family-owned car rental company in airport terminals and cities across Australia, with a new fleet and plenty of hybrid options too. Experience the exceptional service that earned us Product Review's 2026 Car Hire Service of the Year. Book direct and save now at redspot.com.au today, or call 1300 66 8810.
Red Spot. The news and issues that matter to South Australia. Always Adelaide. This is 5AA.
Come up to see me. Knock down, build two with Metro Homes. Move into one and keep the other as an investment. Metro Homes, they do it all for you.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
There's nothing left.
11 minutes after 8. What an extraordinary morning we've had on 5AA Breakfast, handing the meat tray over to you, our listeners, to tell us stories of family members you're proud of who may have served in any theatre of war which has ever featured Australians. We've got some wonderful stories. You know what? One thing that is abundantly clear? We've heard 3 poems this morning. How did poetry get this reputation of being some sort of pansy, effeminate sort of pursuit? The bravest and toughest blokes of all time in this country sat down and wrote poetry.
Well, the good thing about poetry and writing is that it's a way of processing things that are often beyond the realm of human comprehension and the emotional capacity to absorb things. And World War I brought us people like Wilfred Owen.
Yeah. Dulce et decorum est.
Yeah, Pro Patria Mori. How beautiful it is to die for your country, my friend. You will not say with such cruel jest. What is it? I can't remember the final part. The start of it. What is it? Bent double like old beggars under sacks.
Yeah.
Knock-kneed, coughing like hags. We curse through sludge. Amazing bit of writing. But yeah, Rupert Brooke, the Englishman, died during World War I. One of the most celebrated poets. Siegfried Sassoon.
There's the wonderful celebrated poets, but the thing that I think stood out this morning is, well, this just was something that an average Joe teenager did in war once upon a time. It's quite aside from the point. I just don't think that's a way in which people would naturally think to express themselves these days.
I'm going to sound really old here. I sort of wonder whether, these days we spend far too much time worrying about how you going with your PowerPoint presentation as opposed to the ye olde discipline of giving someone a pen and a piece of paper and saying, write something. Just write something. And even through to like the Spanish Civil War, like all the best writers in the world at the time, some of them on different sides, but that drove so many people because it was a dress rehearsal for World War II. It was fascism versus a democratically elected government. Orwell, Shaw, so many people immersed themselves in that. But yeah, it's a different era where it wasn't seen as, oh, you're writing a poem, are you, mate?
Yeah. But how did that happen? Like all these families, we've had people who just sat there one day in a trench or in a jungle or on a boat writing poetry about people from Adelaide, people from South Australia and surrounds. It's been quite extraordinary. Wonderful stories.
Has anyone ever written a book about the South Australian war effort, like specifically about SA?
Great question. Not one I've read.
You should write it, mate. Seriously, sitting here this morning with your military knowledge of all the battles.
I would love to do it.
You should
Except
do
you're
it.
You're the writer, not me, unfortunately.
No, you can write. I've read your stuff. Hey, we've held breaking at 8 over till Monday. We've got a really good story we're going to hold until then, mainly because we want to devote the maximum amount of time to covering Anzac Day, and we're getting a lot of really nice feedback from our listeners who have enjoyed telling and hearing these stories, family stories that are part of our national story ahead of our most important national day. So we've got Brad Flaherty, the RSL SA president, on the line instead now. Brad, good morning. Ahead of such an important day, we just felt that, particularly with it being on a Saturday, we wanted to devote the maximum amount of time to covering Anzac Day ahead of all the dawn services tomorrow. I'll tell you what, there's more than a couple of them too, and it's a terrific thing. I'm sitting here thumbing through a spreadsheet. It looks like there's about 170 odd dawn services in suburban and regional South Australia.
Well, that's about right. We've actually got about 120 sub-branches, RSL sub-branches throughout South Australia. So most small regional towns were impacted by World War I, World War II, probably in a percentage higher than the average in the cities. So you'll find a lot of memorials around in the regions and even the suburbs, I suppose, coming into the city itself. Our population level was really pretty small in 1914. But we had huge amounts of people that volunteered. So it was, we had 408,000 was the population and 35,000 enlisted in World War I, and 5,500 didn't come back, and around 15,000 more were injured. So it's got a significant impact on not only the regions but the city and the culture build of what we became as a country, I believe.
How have the dawn services changed over the years, Brad? I mean, as we said, those numbers are heartening, aren't they? That there are still so many branches, so many people will be fronting up tomorrow. But how have you seen this sort of evolution?
Oh, it dropped away in the 70s, I suppose, and started to build probably in the 90s. From about 98 onwards, when we started to have some pretty significant operational tempo for our defence forces, I saw, this is only my point of view, I saw a pretty big increase both in the regions and in the city, and people becoming more and more aware of how we become the country that we are because of the operations that we've served in World War I, World War II and other areas. And it just continues to build that ethos of honour, sacrifice, mateship, and now I see family and obviously a reflection on veterans.
Brad, what would you say to younger people who've got still medals in the family that would like to march on the day or participate in Anzac Day, but are a little bit unsure because either maybe they're embarrassed because they don't feel, that they're fit to walk around with their grandparents' medals on, for example, or they're just a little bit unsure about getting involved and how actual veterans would perceive their participation? What would you say to those people?
More than welcome. Don't feel embarrassed at all. When you're wearing your relations or your granddad's medals, wear them on the right side. The official medals for people that have earned them themselves is on the left side. But the RSL and our communities, particularly our local government level people, we would welcome anyone and everyone who can come along. It doesn't matter if you don't have any medals of your relations to wear. Just come and be a part of a pretty moving sort of ceremony, I suppose. It's a commemoration, particularly the dawn service is very, very moving, and it's an opportunity for our older people to educate's not the right word, but I suppose advise and expose our younger people to what we've been through as a country and as a group of people as veterans.
Brad, do you feel that enough is done in our schools about teaching the importance of Anzac Day? I know that every year, like clockwork, our kids come home and say, hey, Mum and Dad, it's Harmony Day. We need to get the orange clobber to celebrate multiculturalism. Different events at different points throughout the school year. I mean, I'm not trying to get all culture wars about it, but does the RSL feel that it is intertwined enough with the school communities to make sure that kids are learning about why tomorrow is so important?
It's getting better than what it used to be, and I know that through the Virtual War Memorial, there's a lot of educational type programs that are intertwined with the education system. The biggest concern that I've ever come across, though, with our educational process is context. A lot of the time our people that are who want to learn and want to be able to teach correctly don't understand the context of the fact, like, for example, the Vietnam War, how Australia was involved. They don't understand that while we worked with the Americans, we weren't a part of it a lot of the time. World War II, people don't understand who we fought a lot of the time, and it's just a matter of honing that awareness, I think. I think it's going in the right direction. I believe that there's more and more awareness in the educational side of things, and the kids are more aware, and the processes like the Virtual War Memorial that are putting forward opportunities for young people to interact with veterans is just outstanding.
Yeah, absolutely. Where will you be tomorrow, Brad?
everywhere.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So we've got the night visual tonight. We've got young people that are going to be guarding the War Memorial on North Terrace from about 7 o'clock onwards tonight, all night. So there'll be different groups of air cadets, army cadets, and Girl Guides. I can't remember the groups, all of them, but they're doing a wonderful job coming out there and guarding the War Memorial for us. Then we've got a dawn service if you get any dawn service anywhere in South Australia, if you hit there about 5:45, you'll be good. And then we've got the big march at 9:30. Then we've got the remembrance service at the Cross of Sacrifice. And then there's a big footy match later on in the afternoon after the Anzac drinks on the Torrens Parade Ground. So the RAA is sponsoring us there, and other organisations are sponsoring us there so that we can have a barbecue and a few beers and a bit of two-up on the parade ground tomorrow afternoon. I think that would be about lunchtime, I think. And then there's the big footy match with Port Adelaide playing against Geelong, where they're honouring us with the Anzac appeal and supporting us all the way through there. So it's
worth plugging that appeal too, because that raises funds for assistance to families, helping people who are struggling with things like PTSD. There's a lot of important real-time work where obviously Anzac Day is often it involves looking back, but it also involves the present day very much, doesn't it?
It does. Look, the anzacappeal.com.au, if you want to make a donation, you can do that through there, or you'll see service people around the place today and definitely tomorrow that will see you a badge. Please make sure that you can donate because, as you said, it will support veterans and their families and the transition to civilian life. And also we operate in an advocacy and a wellbeing and an employment profile for veterans. And any donations to Anzac Appeal always helps us in those areas. I think one of the key things is that if you've served, if you put the uniform on, we're very proud of what you've done and we would like to look after you.
Good on you, Brad. Lest we forget, thanks for coming on. Brad Flaherty, RSL SA President.
It's 22 minutes after 8. Today is the day where we work out who the King of the Pride is going to be. This is a big, big morning. Currently, King of the Pride is Bob from Golden Grove. If you can unseat Bob, you will win the Spark Travel King of the Pride Lion King musical trip of a lifetime, return flights, 3 nights accommodation, tickets to see the Lion King, tickets to the Archibald exhibition, a light tea at the tea room in the Queen Victoria building, and a Captain Cook Premium Harbour Experience cruise.
Have a Captain Cook at that.
Have a Captain Cook at that. All thanks to the great people at Spark Travel. This is as simple as this morning. We've been playing all week to get to this point. If you can unseat Bob, you win. If Bob, our carryover champion, our King of the Pride, wins, it's all Bob's. And I'm telling you, you're going to have to be quick to beat him. 8223 0055 is the number. Who ends the week as the King of the Pride and walks away with the Spark Travel pack valued at some $3,000? We'll find out next.
Slowing through Seaford Rise, a crash at Main South Road near Bakewell Drive. To Paraka, a burst water main causing some delays at Bridge Road near Pratt Avenue. And in Fairview Park, there's urgent sewer works happening at Yattlebell Road near Hancock Road. Watch out for speed cameras across the day at Tapley's Hill Road, Fulham, and along the Salisbury Highway through Dry Creek. Step up and sign up for Starlight Super Steps. Walk or run 10,000 steps a day this May to help make hospital a happier place for sick kids. It's free to sign up at supersteps.org.au. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA Sports Show. Rowie and Timmy G.
Tyson Stengel, he's a premiership player, let's not forget that. But just a terrific lad. Just a shy, happy, terrific lad. But he certainly has had a tough upbringing, and let's just say a well-documented run-in with illicit drugs, as we do know.
Adelaide's only local sports show.
Young Tice, we wish you well, mate. There's blue skies ahead.
The 5AA Sports Show. Weekday afternoons from 4 on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Introducing the Caliente by Beechwood Homes. A multi-level masterpiece of design, innovation and style. Inspired by the effortless glamour of Palm Springs in California, it's bathed in natural light through clever architectural design. At its heart, a stunning 6-metre island bench anchors a kitchen that's as beautiful as it is functional. The Caliente is open for viewing at 10 Simon Crescent, Craigburn Farm, Saturdays and Sundays 1 to 4:30pm. Life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home.
Your business has most likely been targeted by a cyber attack. You just don't know it yet. Often the future attack hides quietly in your system, watching, waiting, learning how your business works. That's how most attacks start. FX IT helps Australian businesses find threats early before they become crippling. Don't be the easy win for cyber criminals. Book your free security audit now at fx.com.au/protect.
Now, some things you can leave a little late, cleaning out the shed, fixing a squeaky door or sorting out the spare room.
True, but your pool, ignore your pool heading into winter and you'll be paying for it come summer. The pool market at supermarket at O'Halloran Hill will get your pool sorted with Adelaide's biggest range of pool gear.
Plus, right now, they've got an amazing special for 5AA listeners. Put your pool to sleep the best way with a Winterizer liquid pack. Mention you're a 5AA listener. Forget paying $111. You'll get the Winterizer liquid pack for just $50. It's an incredible offer.
Don't leave it too late. Look after your pool now so it's not a green mess later. Head to the Pool Supermarket on South Road, O'Halloran Hill. The only thing they don't sell are pools. Poolsupermarket.com.au.
What starts with A and ends with E? Supplements for you and me.
Arbor Vitae Joint Health is now on sale at Chemist Warehouse for just $55.99 a bottle. You save over $16 a bottle at Chemist Warehouse.
Arbor Vitae.
There's a better way to choose your next car. Not bumper to bumper, but vineyard to vineyard. Come to Barossa Auto Group and test drive Ford, Volkswagen, Honda or Kia, where the road opens up. And the drive means everything. Take a country test drive. We'll even buy you lunch to make a day of it. T's and C's apply. Barossa Auto Group, Tanunda and Nuri Utpa.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Knock down, build 2 with Metro Homes. Move into one and keep the other as an investment. Metro Homes, they do it all for you.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
Oh, I just can't wait to be king.
All week we've been building up to this moment, the Spark Travel Lion King the Musical Ultimate Weekend. It's actually longer than weekend. It's 3 nights away in Sydney. Accommodation, flights, transfers, it's all included. You go see Lion King. Everyone who sees the show says it's unbelievable, by the way. It gets rave reviews. Tickets to the Archibald exhibition. A light tea at the famous tea room and a Captain Cook Premium Harbour Experience cruise where you get a beverage and a charcuterie board to share. This is just an awesome prize, frankly, and it's been fun all week.
You can't not have fun in Sydney. Sydney is bloody excellent. I love Sydney.
This would be superb. So very simple. It's going to come down to Bob, who is our King of the Pride, going into the final day, which is always a precarious position. Bob, good morning to you.
Good morning.
And Lisa in Parkholme. Lisa, you've done the smartest thing you do all week is be the person who calls into challenge on the Friday, because all you need is 2 correct answers. All right, guys, your names are your buzzers. You get 2 correct answers and you're going to Sydney to see the Lion King. It's as simple as that. Here we go. Names are your buzzers. As a sign of remembrance, a sprig of which herb is worn? Yes, Bob.
That would be, the sprig is, I know it.
Sorry, Bob. Lisa, do you want to have a crack?
Is it waffle?
Sorry, the answer is rosemary.
Oh, rosemary, of course it is.
See, you all knew. Now, question number 2. Tim Rice and which other musical artist collaborated? Yes, Bob.
Elton John.
Oh, you were both quick there. Bob just snuck in.
I was first.
No,
you weren't. Sorry, Lisa.
Sorry, Lisa.
Oh, okay.
It might have sounded like that on your end. We've had this controversy before, but it's how it goes to wear. Thank you. Bob's got the first score on the board. Which classic board game involves answering questions and collecting 6 coloured wedges?
Bob. Lisa?
Yes, Bob.
Trivial Pursuit.
Bob, you've done it. You are the king of the pride. And you, Bob, are going to Sydney, all thanks to the great people at Spark Travel. Congratulations to you.
Thank you very much.
Who are you
Well
taking
done,
with you, Bob?
Well, that's up in the air at the moment, so I'm not certain, but I'll work that out over the next little bit.
All right. We could take, if you're looking for someone, we could take some calls if you like in the next half hour. I'm sure there'll be plenty of people that love to come along.
We'll get some pictures as well.
Yeah, no, do it, Bob. But we'll love to hear from you after the trip, and we'll chat with you then, mate. Congratulations to you. I got to confess, it's always nice when someone who's had some victories over the week wins it on the final day. It always feels cruel if you've won multiple times and then lost.
But I still felt sorry for Lisa.
I felt sorry for Lisa because I reckon she knew at least 2 of the answers. You just had to be so quick. All right, we got more chance to win coming up next because Feedback Friday is coming up. 8223 0000. Get calling right now. Feedback Friday, 3 wonderful prizes, 4 simple questions, no wrong answers. We love rounding out the week with your feedback, so get calling now. 8223 0000.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Mostly sunny and 27 today with the 8:30 news. Good morning, I'm Jess Adamson.
FIVEAA Extra, keeping you healthy. Marion, Pirie Street, Norwood, Hallett Cove, Seaford and Victor Harbour. PhysioExtra.com.
Police are appealing to witnesses after a terrifying rampage on Goodger Street last night. A 38-year-old Largs Bay man's been arrested after assaulting 3 people in separate incidents. Police say he attacked a security guard in a hotel just after 7:30. Minutes later, it's alleged he assaulted a woman known to him in the middle of Goodger Street. It's believed the same suspect punched a man in the face about an hour earlier. He was chased by officers into a food court and arrested. He'll face court today charged with 2 counts of aggravated assault, breaching an intervention order and 1 count of assault. 2 people escaped a house fire at Mitchell Park this morning. They were woken by a smoke alarm at 2 a.m. Firefighters managed to stop the blaze in Malden Avenue from spreading to an adjoining property. The cause and damage bill aren't yet clear. The head of the RSL nationally is hailing the unifying nature of Anzac Day, urging people to come together tomorrow. Hundreds of thousands of people will gather at dawn services around the country to remember the sacrifices of those who've served our nation. Despite the current situation in the Middle East, a near record number of people is expected at Anzac Cove for the commemorations in Gallipoli. RSL National President Peter Tinley says it's an incredible day on our national calendar.
It involves the entire Australian community, which is something we often overlook. We always get focused on those who wore a uniform, but actually the Anzac spirit is an opportunity for each and every one of us to dip into what it is to be Australian.
Extra buses will come online to ensure South Australians can pay their respects tomorrow. Current and former military personnel will be able to travel for free. Transport Minister Joe Sockarch says it's important we show up.
Bring a friend, bring your family, bring your neighbours, and attend dawn service that's close to you, or of course the one at the National War Memorial in Adelaide.
A visiting US military leader is warning about China's advances in outer space military technology. He says the tech could potentially be used against the US and allies like Australia in a potential war. The commander of the Space Force's combat team has described the acceleration of the Chinese space program as concerning. Donald Trump's vowing he won't be rushed into making a deal with Iran to end the ongoing conflict. He insists the US is in full control of the Strait of Hormuz and the vital shipping lane will open up once a lasting agreement is secured. The president says a temporary increase in oil prices is the cost of ridding Iran of nuclear weapons.
I don't want to rush it. I want to take my time. We have plenty of time, and I want to get a great deal. I want to get a deal where our nation and the world is safe from lunatics with nuclear weapons.
Fewer pubgoers are putting their hand up at the bar to buy a round, with South Australia among 3 states even being labelled stingy. Kendall Gilding reports.
It sounds un-Australian, but apparently only 1 in 5 of us are now willing to buy a drink for others at the bar. This is according to new data from news.com.au. They surveyed 53,000 people. 34% said they'd never shout around. 44% said they'd only do it for a close friend.
Now turning to 5AA Sports.
Agostino Mitsubishi's is overstocked with demos that must be cleared. Upgrade your vehicle today. Nailsworth and Mawson Lakes.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Jess. Adelaide captain Jordan Dawson has been named in the Crows squad for this weekend's match against Brisbane. He trained for the first time since his brother's passing and will at this stage play on Sunday. Billy Dowling, James Borlace and Toby Murray have also been included. The squad will be cut to 23 a little later today. And Port has named an unchanged lineup for the Anzac Day clash with Geelong at Adelaide Oval. Power players will wear a special Guernsey celebrating 125 years of the Royal Australian Navy, while members of the ADF will be involved in game day activities. Let's stick with football. Sydney are on top of the ladder after Swans recruit key forward Charlie Curnow booted 7 of the team's 18 goals with their 66-point win against the Bulldogs. That was at Marvel Stadium last night. Swans coach Dean Cox says experience shone through. Ruckman Brodie Grundy's 2 goals also pleasing.
He's been a great servant to lead the midfield group. He plays his 250th this week coming up. So, yeah, he's at the top of his game, not only with providing our mids first use, but also what he does around the ground. And he's got a massive challenge against an old sparring partner next week.
Let's go to basketball, and Adelaide 36's general manager Matt Weston insists it was a mutual parting of ways with the club and DJ Vasiljevic. Speaking with Rowie and Timmy G, Weston says the move was right for both parties.
Sitting with DJ's guys and sort of talking about what the future looks like, and, you know, his role, etc., they sort of felt also that it might be best he look at a couple of opportunities that might suit him and his playing style and time a bit better.
And one game in the IPL overnight with the Chennai Super Kings 103-run winners against the Mumbai Indians. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Tom. Let's check the traffic.
Lynn Andrews Real Estate, experts in commercial and residential property management. lynnandrews.com.au.
Slow going through Seaford Rise, a smash at Main South Road near Bakewell Drive to Paraka, a burst water main at Bridge Road near Pratt Avenue, and in Fairview Park, urgent sewer works at Yattlevale Road near Hancock Road. Delays too through Ferryden Park around Regency Road at Days Road, down to 40 for outbound around ongoing works. Harris Scarf mid-season sale is on now. Save 40% off full price air fryers by Healthy Choice. Exclusions apply. Harris Scarf, great brands, great prices. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Mostly sunny and 27 today, 28 tomorrow with a possible late shower, 21 with a shower or two for Sunday, 24 and sunny for Monday ahead of another warm week. Right now it's 21 degrees on 5AA, always Adelaide.
Do you snore? You might have a sleep monster. It steals rest and drives couples to sleep apart. Take ResMed's free online sleep assessment. Visit resmed.com/sleep monster.
This information is not a substitute for medical advice. Consult your healthcare provider for medical guidance.
Adelaide's local, trusted and truly connected talkback radio station. 5AA. Always Adelaide.
5AA's Tech Talk with your host, Adelaide Tech Guy Richard Pascoe. Thanks to Harvey Norman Computers.
All right, if you've been thinking about upgrading your laptop, now's actually a very smart time to do it. Harvey Norman has up to 25% off selected big brand laptops, and there are some genuinely strong deals in there. For example, the Acer Aspire Go with an Intel Core 5 processor is down to $628. That's a $270 saving. The Lenovo IdeaPad Slim 3 Copilot Plus is $998, saving you $400. And the HP OmniBook X Flip 14, a really versatile 2-in-1, now $1,498, save $400. So whether it's work, study or just something faster and more reliable, it's worth a look. Best range, best brands, best prices, up to 25% off selected laptops at Harvey Norman now. Conditions apply.
Check out this great offer at a Harvey Norman store near you.
Catching up with family and friends at home is always a special time. Make life easy with a welcome hand from your local Barnacle Bill. It's Barnacle Bill for seafood and much, much more.
Get on the Great Open Road with Explorer Caravan's Autumn Stock Clearance Sale. And with leading Aussie brands including Franklin, Viscount and Titanium, you'll get a great deal. And with vans available now, it's the perfect time to head off the beaten track. Plus, receive a $3,000 fuel card with your purchase. Hurry into Explorer Caravans, corner of Grand Junction and Prospect Roads. Travel around Australia on us with a $3,000 fuel card. But be quick, sale ends April 30. T's and C's apply.
If you've been thinking about downsizing, but the idea of leaving your neighbourhood is the biggest sticking point, well, Metro Homes, one of Adelaide's leading builders, has a really smart solution. Instead of selling up and moving away, you can subdivide your block and build 2 homes.
It means you get to move into a fresh, brand new home designed to suit your lifestyle now, and right next door, an investment property, or you can sell the other home.
That's rental income or a place for family or long-term financial security. You're living in the same street, the same neighbours, same coffee shop you've been going to for years.
You'll have more financial freedom plus a home that fits the way you live today. Downsizing? Find out more by contacting Metro Homes on 8100 0999 or visit metrohomessa.com.au.
Who wants to go on a holiday? Dreaming of your next getaway? With Travel Auctions, the choice is yours. From powered sites for caravanners to holiday cabins, relaxing cruises and hotel escapes, there's something for everyone. And here's the best part. You bid the price you want to pay. With Travel Auctions, it's as simple as placing your bid, and if you are successful, hello holiday. Travelauctions.com.au or call 1300 656573. No hidden fees, just great deals.
Knock down, build 2 with Metro Homes. Move into one and keep the other as an investment. Metro Homes, they do it all for you.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
19 minutes to 9. Still more time for your Metro Friday entries, 8223 0000. We do have one spot for Feedback Friday still available too. Shandell and Sam will be contesting and therefore winning a prize, but we have one more prize and one more spot available, so get calling now on 8223 0000.
You should read this text out, Will. Mike from Taringi. It's long. It's about your account of Tobruk earlier. I can do it if you want.
Yeah, do you want to do it?
Yeah.
I get my Metro Friday, my Feedback Friday questions ready.
He says, Will and Dave, I've thoroughly enjoyed listening to the many stories of how Aussies punched so much above their weight when it came to contributing to a war that many felt didn't have much to do with us at all. I feel it important to share a perspective from the other side, one that makes me proud to be an Australian. My nonno, grandfather that is, in Italian, was a lieutenant in the Italian army. As a child, I have many memories of him sharing his stories of fighting in what later became Italian colonies in Eritrea, Somalia and Libya. I was only 9 at the time. I'm now 65, but I understood that Italy was no different to many other European countries when it came to expansionist policies, especially with Mussolini's vision of a new Roman Empire. The reality, though, as everyone knows, is that Italy didn't improve on their 1920s resources and was stretched very thin, especially in North Africa. My nonno's stories fit with Will's assertion. With supply lines cut, no food, fuel or armaments, they had no choice other than to surrender. And although my nonno never fought against Australians, his stories concurred with what we now know about Tobruk. When, as a 9-year-old, I asked him about Tobruk, he went very quiet, stating that Italian soldiers had the highest respect for Australians, not only because of what they did there as fierce fighters, but because they were fair and kind-hearted to the captured prisoners. It's a conversation I've never forgotten and one I felt well worth sharing today.
Well, thank you for doing so, Mike. Really appreciate it. Most of the recorded interactions between the Australian and Italian soldiers backed that up. So Australians took Tobruk initially from the Italians, and then it was Rommel's forces and the Germans that tried to recapture it. Hence that famous story about the first land loss that the Nazis suffered being to the Australians. But there are lots of recorded interactions between Australians and Italians. Italians being totally bemused as to why Australians are in North Africa to begin with.
It's worth remembering, though.
There's no natural... Sorry, just to that point, there was no malice between those two, between Australians and Italians. They were there by circumstance of the Second World War.
One of the best books about Vietnam is actually written by a Vietnamese guy called Bao Ninh, The Sorrow of War. I bought it years ago when I was in Vietnam. It's an unbelievably good book. And it's written through the eyes of a Viet Cong soldier who has a full-blown nervous breakdown after the war and can't stop thinking about one incident that he witnessed, which was too horrible to discuss on air. but it resulted in him killing an American soldier. And then it's actually like a really prescient book because it's about PTSD. It's about this Viet Cong guy who becomes a homeless alcoholic. And in his mind, he's just replaying all of the events. And it's just, it is the best book.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Just awful. All right, let's do Feedback Friday.
Feedback Friday today, so have your say feedback.
Might do a shortened Feedback Friday because we've had so many wonderful texts and stories over the course of the morning for the meat tray. Shandell in Salisbury Plains is up first. Shandell, good morning to you.
Hi, David and Will. Great show this morning.
Thank you, Shandell.
Thank you, Shandell. We've really enjoyed hearing everyone's stories. Shandell, have you ever seen a lion?
Only at the zoo, only at Monardo. I was just recently at Monardo. It's the only place I've seen a lion.
Did you see that Russian zoo story earlier in the week where they escaped from the display that was going on? That was just terrifying.
I saw
yes.
In Mexico when I was 16, the circus came to town and we were sitting in the town square after school having coffee and a ute went past with a lion in the back of it.
That's exceptional.
True story.
Do you remember your first trip on a train, Shandell? 170 years of train travel in Adelaide was celebrated earlier this week.
I used to catch the old red hens to school. I was made to walk back in my day, walk to the train station and catch those trains to the school. So, absolutely, a bit of nostalgia there.
Remember how heavy the doors were, Shandell?
Yes. Yeah, you used to have to pull the door back sideways. Pull it sideways back to get in. Yeah.
Just out of 10, Shandell, rate for us how concerned you are about the fish laced with cocaine story we covered earlier this week.
0.
Yeah, fair enough. Thank you, Shandell. You will win a prize. We have, of course, the Smeg appliance and some Kent Town hotel vouchers to give away. So, Shandell, you will win something. Sam in Clearview, so will you. Good morning.
Morning, guys. How are you?
Good, thanks, Sam.
Sam, who would have you sent the most text to in your time that you've owned a mobile?
Oh, probably my mum.
And would it be higher or lower than 44,000, do you think?
Higher.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you. Would you ever own a mouse as a pet? Talking about the mouse plague this week.
Definitely not.
Yeah, no, me neither.
Have you ever had a Zoom meeting, Sam?
Yeah, I have Zoom meetings every day for work because I work from home 3 days a week.
Every single day?
Pretty much, like because I work from home 3 days a week and I have to go into the office 2 days a week. It's pretty much Zoom meetings. Our main team meetings on Thursdays at 2:30, but I have Zoom meetings with everyone in the team because there's some from New South Wales, there's 2 from Victoria, and there's me and 5 others that are from Adelaide.
Are you also a member of the AFL Tribunal, Sam?
No, but I'm a goal umpire for Division 1 Adelaide Footy League.
All
That's
right,
what I do.
Good on you.
We'll consider that an application made. You are available.
Thank you.
Yeah, Sam, excellent work. Rod in Woodcroft, good morning.
Morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Good, thank you, Rod.
We're going all right, Rob. Are you commemorating Anzac Day in any way tomorrow or over the weekend?
Yes, I've already got my flag up between 2 trees in the retirement village.
Fantastic.
Standing proud.
Are you the flag attendant, Rod? Is that your role there?
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's up for Anzac Day, it's up for Remembrance Day, it's up for Australia Day, and don't let any arsehole try and take it down.
Yeah, good on you. Hey, Rod, we had Breaking 8 this week, potential for St Kilda to sell some home games and play them in the Barossa instead. Who should they play? What would your dream St Kilda fixture in the Barossa be?
Have to be Port Adelaide and hopefully St Kilda wins.
Okay, I see what you did there. Have you got a favourite shop at the Adelaide Central Market, Rod?
Yeah, the Stinky Cheese Shop.
Yeah, it's a good one, isn't it? Rod, good on you. That's terrific. Rod, Sam, and it was
Shandell.
Who there's a Smeg appliance and $50 Kent Town hotel vouchers to give away.
I reckon the blokes might like to go and punch a few quiet ones in, or maybe have a palmy at the pub. And big thanks to the Kent Town, and then big thanks to Smeg too, and our good mates at Debney Distributors. Let's give Shandell the Smeg appliance.
Absolutely, Shandell. Congratulations to you. Now, it's not where the giving ends. We've got a Meat Tray to award after the break, but also we've got tickets to Port Geelong tomorrow night. This should be a terrific game of footy at Adelaide Oval. All you need to do is call in right now, 8223 8855. You want to go to the footy on Anzac Day? It's as simple as that. Give us a buzz right now. Back shortly.
Slowing through Seaford Briars, an earlier collision at Main South Road near Bakewell Drive causing some delays. To Paraka, a burst water main at Bridge Road near Pratt Avenue. And to Fairview Park, there's urgent sewer works happening at Yattlevale Road near Hancock Road. In Crafers, we've got barrier damage on the freeway after an earlier truck collision causing some speed restrictions around the interchange affecting both directions. 300,000 Australians homeless, 7.8 million Australians, 1 meal a day. Feed the hungry, house Australians. Newdeal.au, authorised by Clyde Palmer for the United Australia Party Gold Coast. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
FIVEAA Milk Company is big on supporting rural communities. So from April 7 to May 6, every 500ml FIVEAA milk sold at participating BPX convenience stores funds vital mental health programs for isolated and drought-affected regions. With your help, we can make a difference. Look for the iced coffees with the purple label and lid. Get 2 for $7. Every purchase supports Breakthrough Mental Health Research Foundation's regional work, delivering practical support where it's needed most.
The future of driving is here at Solitaire Volkswagen with the all-electric Volkswagen ID4 and ID5 available now for immediate delivery. Combining cutting-edge technology, effortless performance and sleek design, they're built for a smarter way to move. Experience the next generation of driving today. For April only, purchase a Volkswagen ID5 and receive a complimentary accessory package valued at $1,000. T's and C's apply. Drive electric today at Solitaire Volkswagen, Hawthorne or Prospect.
Sold by McGain again.
And as we all know, there's limited homes out there, so you have to get along to these open inspections.
And tomorrow from 12:45 to 1:15pm, Zoe Ball and Baz Rampole are opening 17 Sherrabrook Boulevard, Woodcroft. This spacious double-storey home offers 5 bedrooms, multiple living zones and huge potential. Needing a lot of work throughout, it's perfect for renovators or families that are ready to add value and create their dream home in a family-friendly location. 900 to 945K.
Then tomorrow from 2:15 to 2:45, Zoe and Baz are opening 9/91 Myrtle Street, Prospect. Myrtle Street, one of my mates grew up there. Lovely street. Enjoy city fringe living in a stylish 3-storey townhouse, offering modern comfort, 2 bedrooms with en-suites, dual balconies and low maintenance appeal. Perfect for investors, students or professionals, just minutes from the CBD. Don't miss this smart, convenient lifestyle opportunity, 795 to 845K.
Take a look at these properties and all the McGain listings at mcgain.com.au.
No more. No more. Try Arbor Vitae Joint Health for the relief of pain and other symptoms associated with mild arthritis and inflammation. Arbor Vitae is wellness backed by science. A clinical study on Arbor Vitae Joint Health can be viewed at arborvitae.com.au. That's ARBORVITAE.com.au. Now on sale at all Chemist Warehouse stores. Always read the label and follow the directions for use.
City Discount Tires. Get saving now with City Discount Tires. We're offering great deals on the world's top brands in tyres, wheels, suspension and parts. Suitable for 4-wheel drives, SUVs and passenger cars, including Falcon, Michelin, Pirelli, Kumho, Hankook and many more. Finance options available. Search citydiscounttires.com.au and locate your nearest dealer today. City Discount Tires. We're driven by value.
City Discount Tires. Knock down, build 2 with Metro Homes. Move into one and keep the other as an investment. Metro Homes, they do it all for you.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
6 minutes to 9. We have a meat tray to give away in just a moment. We're just going to do it, I think, randomly, aren't we, David? Because it is impossible to try and pit these wonderful stories about service against one another, and we wouldn't want to, frankly.
No, we wouldn't.
We're going to do that in just a second. Reminder, Best of SA dinner not too far away. And this year, it's something very special because we're celebrating 50 years of 5AA and the first time in the history of Best of SA that we're giving you the opportunity to purchase tickets. If you'd like to come along, simply head to 5AA.com.au, a night you will not want to miss. Now, meat tray, my local butcher Chanella's, 62 Prospect Road at Prospect.
Big thanks to Chanella's. We're going to give it to Helen from Glenelg North, who read out that lovely poem before, talking about the Rats of Tobruk as well. But as we said, there are no official winners in the classic sense of the word today, because everybody who told a story did a great job, and we've really enjoyed doing the show today to pay tribute to all of those people who are no longer with us who helped make our country what it is.
It's been the top 5 of the week.
All right, top 5 moments of the week. Number 5.
Remembering. Iridescent poppies bloom with the roses lining the branches. A field of grass and one of war. Songs so sad, but of peace once more. Countries they clash and people they fall. We love those who left, lost but never forgotten. Bodies lay heavy before it begins, for it is a war and no one ever wins, lest we forget.
Well, there's Helen with their Meat Tray Friday winning call and a nice recitation of that piece of poetry as well. In the number 4 spot.
Could this affect great white sharks?
I don't know about great white sharks specifically, but a recent study came out from Brazil, 14 sharks with high levels of cocaine in their tissues. So I don't know if they're high enough concentrations to affect behaviour, but we're definitely finding cocaine and other pharmaceuticals and drugs in our top order predators.
Wow. Well, that's genuinely terrifying. That was David floating the concept of the cocaine shark live on the air that turned out to scientifically have some basis. Fish behaviour changing because of cocaine leaching into waterways, smugglers losing some of the drug overboard, and the prospect of the cocaine shark introduced this week. Number 3.
Had an job interview a few weeks back. I had a shower. I got my times mixed up because the times were interstate. So my phone was ringing and kept ringing. I went out and answered it. I didn't have any jocks on. I just answered the phone, and I was reminded of an interview. And I jumped straight onto Teams, but I forgot to put my pants on. And unfortunately, all was exposed.
Job of interview gone wrong.
I'm still not buying it.
One of the more memorable calls we had this week in the number 2 spot. We have a fireman's calendar, except ours has been customised because a number of the firemen have my face cut out and put over the top, my face on their bodies. Which
I made it myself with a glue stick.
And presented it on air, live.
Right. Without getting your permission.
For the ridicule of hundreds of thousands of people, which to our limited understanding probably constituted a series of breaches. The HR people were not prepared for our real-world example.
That's right.
Yeah, we kind of derailed the HR meeting earlier this week when they tried to talk about things that were do's and don'ts in the office, and we realised their fictional example was a real-life lived one for us.
That's right.
The number 1 spot.
The barks got louder and louder. His door was ajar behind him. Sure enough, eventually his dogs just burst into the room. He had to start apologising. A woman, I can only assume it was Mrs. Elric, entered the room and appeared to be wearing some form of pyjama. Sort of went in there to try and just sort things out. He had to mute the hearing and turn the camera off for a brief moment while he attended to the dogs. Yeah, Mr. and Mrs. Elric, it wasn't their best night.
Yeah, it wasn't the best week for the AFL. A farcical situation at the Appeals Tribunal.
The latest being last night, apropos of nothing, that decided to unilaterally slash the St Kilda blokes fine for dropping the F word.
Well, they've said, things get set out in the football field.
Okay, yeah, they do. And it cost Isaac Rankin a spot in the entire final series.
Unbelievable. Yeah,
There's no
that'll
consistency at all.
That'll be a big talking point on the sports show, I suspect. We'll round things out this morning with Fuel Watch. It's better to be a member with RAA Road Service. There are some good cheap spots around if you want to fill up with unleaded. The Yugo at Clearview is the best, $1.71.9. The average is $1.74.9. The cheapest diesel is the OTR Mansfield Park, $2.43.9. Thank you for all your contributions this morning. We really appreciate it. We've loved hearing your stories, and we'll catch up with you next week from 6 on Monday morning.